for him. And he steps in and takes a fastball for a strike. Upton hitting 152. And in fact, 7 for 63 in his last 15 games. But remember, coming off of shoulder surgery and did not start the season. And he lifts this in the air to short right field. Charging is Rocco Baldelli and makes the catch for the out. Baldelli, the former Tampa Bay Ray, makes the play for the first out.
Good play by Rocco coming in on the ball. An easier play than for Pedroia.
And right now, here is the sprint pitcher profile for John Lester.
Well, we talked about Lester's success at Fenway, 17-3 in the regular season. One of those losses to Tampa Bay. He also lost here at Fenway to Tampa Bay during the playoffs. And why so many home runs? I mean, last year Lester only gave up 14. He's given up 7 already this year.
Well, talk about hot hitters. The next 3 in the lineup for the Rays are just that. Carl Crawford, who's been nothing short of amazing, takes outside ball 1. Carl Crawford, talk about the stolen bases, had 6 last Sunday against the Red Sox. Has not been caught in 21 attempts. But how about what he's done at the plate as he stands in with the open stance. The 1-0 pitch, and it's 2-0. Let's take a look now at the Red Sox defensively. Jason Varitek behind the plate. Bailey, Pedroia, Lugo, and Lowell in the infield. Bay, Ellsbury, and Baldelli in the outfield. And the pitch is outside. And it's 3-0 to Crawford. Last night, a single, triple, and a double. And Tim, if you count his last at-bat Thursday against the Yankees, a home run.
He has been red hot at the plate and on the bases. 21 straight steals.
Longoria waiting on deck, and a 4-pitch walk, and Crawford is aboard.
That's a double. I mean, that's the way you have to think about it. When you walk Crawford, you've got to make him put the ball in play, particularly with the power guys coming up in Longoria and Pena.
Longoria leading the American League with 39 runs batted in. Hit a grand slammer against the Red Sox a week ago Friday. And Crawford, of his 21 stolen bases, 10 have come against the Red Sox.
6 in one game on May 3rd against Boston.
That tied a major league record, and already look at the lead that Crawford has, held on by Bailey.
It's a very difficult thing whenever you get a guy who can run like Crawford on base, particularly when you have the player of the month at the plate.
And then on deck, Carlos Pena. All he's done is lead the league in home runs, 3rd in RBIs. Pitch to the plate. Breaking ball inside 1-0.
Now, the one thing you don't want to do is allow the speed at first base to affect the way you pitch to a guy like Longoria. Otherwise, in this ballpark with a green monster looming, sometimes speed is more effective when you don't run from first base.
Here's the 1-0 pitch, and it's fouled off, and the count is 1-1 strike. You mentioned the 6 steals. He became the 4th player in the modern era to steal 6 bases in a game. The others were Eddie Collins, Otis Nixon, and Eric Young. He was 4 for 4 as well, and unstoppable on the base paths in that game. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, and Crawford with the lead at first. Goes back to the bag. So Lester doing a good job thus far, but falling behind. Longoria 2-1.
He was going back to the bag, was Crawford. That's because of that right knee of John Lester. John kind of threw that right knee at him. It's a quasi slide step that Lester's been using.
Crawford with 25 straight stolen bases against Boston. And leaning and then getting back. So right now, Crawford does not have an accurate bead on John Lester thus far. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out. The Rays had won 3 in a row for the first time this year before they lost last night to the Red Sox 7-3. And going over there now, Lester to Pat him on the back, has 5 pickoffs this year to lead the league. So this is a pretty good matchup with Crawford at first and Lester on the mound. 2-1 to Evan Longoria. On the inside corner, and the count is even 2-2.
He threw over there twice, and then he delivered the ball quickly with the slide step. So he has worked Crawford very well, and not too badly to Longoria. It's a very difficult job because the pitcher in effect is working 2 players right here. Crawford at first, Longoria at home.
And 2 pretty tough players at that. And it's not going to get any easier. Just missing. And the count is full 3-2 to Longoria. We showed you Carlos Pena on deck. Rays have had the Red Sox numbered. They took 2 out of 3 here in Fenway Park to start the year, and 3 out of 4 in Tampa last weekend.
If you're Carl Crawford now, you've got to make sure Lester goes home. You can't be picked off in this situation.
Runner doesn't go, and a foul ball down the left field line.
He wasn't going. I can't believe that. 3-2, Carl Crawford with 21 straight stolen bases. Holding. Now, you've got to run in this situation. It's 3-2. I mean, it's a situation where you have got to run. I am surprised that Joe Madden does not send Crawford.
What about now?
Absolutely. Same situation.
And Crawford doesn't go, and this is a ground ball, again foul down the line. This was closer to being a fair ball than the first one. So on 3-2 pitches, Crawford does not go on the count. Here's Evan Longoria, and look at what he has done so far this year. And there's no question that Longoria, Tampa Bay found out quickly what they had in this rising star, to say the least.
The only reason that Crawford has not been running, in my view, Joe Madden probably thinks movement for the right-handed hitter could mess him up. I guess that's the reason.
Doesn't go again, and the 3-2 pitch line to center field. Ellsbury going back, looking up, and it's gone. It's a home run. A line shot by Evan Longoria just over the center field wall. And the Tampa Rays have a 2-0 lead on Longoria's 11th home run of the year and RBIs number 40 and 41.
We talked about it earlier in the at-bat. Sometimes you're more effective by not running when you have the speed that Carl Crawford has. And the reason for that is the pitcher doesn't concentrate totally on the hitter. Home run Longoria. And at Tampa Bay combination of Crawford and Longoria against a left-handed pitcher, very, very difficult.
So the Rays jump on the Red Sox and lead it by a score of 2-0. Here is Pena. Swings and misses for strike 1. Pena leading in home runs with 13 and third in runs batted in with 30. And he's had some success against Lester. 6 for 19, and he's hit 3 out of the park. So the crowd silenced early here at Fenway Park. Off-speed pitch. And it's 1-1. On deck is Pat Burrell, designated hitter. And he's looking to get on track. Dustin Pedroia playing in short right field as Pena takes call strike 2, 1-2. They're the home run leaders with Pena and Longoria. 1-2, and of course we're going to see Jason Bay. There you see the shift on the right side for the Red Sox.
Wishbone defense on the right.
Who will get the pitch?
Right.
Probably Pena here.
Right.
Here's the 1-2 pitch into center field. Ellsbury coming on in and makes the catch. So Jacoby Ellsbury covers a lot of ground with his speed in center field, makes the catch on Pena, and there are 2 down in the first.
You know, you think of all the throws to first base after Crawford walked on 4 pitches. There were 5 different pickoff throws at first base. Now, you know, anybody who knows anything about baseball knows that at least had to bother Lester some having the type speed of Crawford at first, particularly what he's done against the Red Sox.
Pat Burrell hits it out to Ellsbury, and that'll retire the side, but not before Evan Longoria hits his 11th home run of the year. A 2-run blast off of John Lester to give the Rays a 2-0 lead with the Red Sox coming up in the first. The bond, Jacoby Ellsbury leading off in center field. Dustin Pedroia hitting second. David Ortiz still without a home run hitting third. And Jason Bay batting cleanup. How hot has he been? Mike Lowell batting fifth. Rocco Baldelli in the sixth spot. Jeff Bailey will be at first base batting seventh. Jason Varitek behind the plate hitting eighth and batting ninth at shortstop. Julio Lugo, Scott Kazmir, 3-3 on the year. And a lot of attention being paid to what Kazmir does in this first inning. And here is the sprint pitcher profile for Scott Kazmir.
Now, the reason that so much is being paid attention to here in the first inning, that first inning problems, giving up 9 runs in the first inning. He gave up only 10 in the first inning last year. A tilt on the slider, very, very important, and like Lester, successful here at Fenway.
First strike to Ellsbury. So Jacoby Ellsbury, who returned to the lineup last night after missing 2 games with a tight right hamstring. Of course, he is second in the league behind Crawford in stolen bases. And everyone was raving about Ellsbury when he stole home against Andy Pettitte and the Yankees. And all of that has gone way into the background since Carl Crawford has done his thing. The 1-1 pitch. And looped into left center field. Charging it is Crawford. A lot of speed. And has to leap to make that catch for out number 1. So Ellsbury is retired, and that will bring up Dustin Pedroia. Rookie of the Year 2 years ago. MVP last year. And he is 10th in the league in hitting at .336 with a homer and 12 runs batted in, and has been sizzling at the plate.
Rookie of the Year MVP. That could be matched this year with Evan Longoria. Rookie of the Year last year, could be the MVP this year.
Has the numbers to challenge for it, Tim, without
question. Great start, yeah.
Ball 1 to Pedroia. Pedroia hitting a rousing .556 against Kazmir. 15 for 27. He's practically owned Scott. Takes the fastball and a strike, and it's 1-1. Kazmir, who was acquired in a trade in 2004 from the Mets right before the trading deadline, and a very big trade for Tampa Bay at the time. Foundation for their pitching staff as Pedroia takes ball 2, 2-1.
And the lack of a foundation for the Mets pitching staff. You think about what's happened to the Mets the last 2 years, just missing winning the National League East. Had they had Kazmir over the last couple of years, think about that. I know the Mets have.
Yes, constantly. 3-1 now to Pedroia. Kazmir, 25 years old, from Houston, Texas, and already the all-time leader in innings pitched, strikeouts, and starts for the Tampa Bay Ray franchise. Ball 4, and Pedroia draws a walk. So the Red Sox with their first base runner trailing 2-0. And here comes Big Papi, David Ortiz. And there you see 147 at-bats since his last home run. He's been with the Red Sox 35 months. Never has gone a month without a home run. And he did, of course, in April. And just trying to get on track with the long ball.
Only designated hitter in the American League without a home run, and the defense way around to the right. The whole left side of the infield open for Ortiz.
Strike 1 to Ortiz. Now, while Ortiz is not homered and is hitting .220, he has remained patient at the plate. He's been on base either with a hit or a walk in each of the last 17 games. So he has stayed cool at the plate. Swings and misses, and the count now 0-2.
Boy, that swing right there is an indication of David Ortiz and his problems. Discombobulated coming out of there. That right side flying out. Left-handed hitter against a left-handed pitcher. It's essential to keep the front shoulder in there.
Pedroia with the lead, and the pitch just misses. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. On deck is Jason Bay. There he is. And it's just ironic, the same week that Manny Ramirez gets suspended for 50 games, the guy who replaced him in left field, Jason Bay, couldn't be going any better for the Red Sox.
That's right.
Foul ball out of play. Well, if you've missed him hitting the home runs, here's his last round tripper back in September 22nd to be exact, against the Indians at Fenway Park off Zach Jackson. That is the last home run that Big Papi has homered in the regular season. He did hit one in Game 5 against these Rays in the ALCS. Inside, and it's now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Red Sox have won 4 out of 5 after losing 3 out of 4 in Tampa Bay. They swept the Yankees in 2 games. Split with the Indians before winning last night.
Kazmir coming inside to Ortiz. A good pitch on a 1-2 count. He'll go back outside. If you're David Ortiz, you've got to think left field right here. That probably as much as anything. When you think left field as a left-handed hitter, you're keeping your shoulder closed.
And of course, why do they have the shift? Because he doesn't normally do that. Pulls the ball, takes outside. And Kazmir has run the count full to Ortiz, 3-2.
Now the Rays wanted this pitch, a slider. They thought it was on the corner.
Close.
Very, very close.
Pedroia with the lead at first. Does not go, and a check swing, base hit to left field. As the third baseman Longoria was playing the normal shortstop position, and Pedroia falls down, and now a wild throw. Pedroia will get to third, and on the high throw, Ortiz gets to second. So a comedy of errors, so to speak, and Pedroia, who fell down halfway between second and third, should have been an easy out at second. Not to be.
A check swing, left side, wide open. You can see Longoria out there. Now nobody is there to cover third. So the shortstop, who was on the right side of second base, is in the position. Pedroia runs into him. The ball is still in play. Ortiz goes to second base. Watch Pedroia. Watch the shortstop coming into your picture. That's Bartlett. Pedroia runs into him, falls down.
And there's Ortiz. Yep.
Bartlett impeding the progress of Pedroia, and now Ortiz sees the overthrow and goes to second base.
And they rule it a single and in throwing error to Carl Crawford. That is his first error of the season. So the Red Sox, with one out, have runners at second and third. Tying runs aboard. And the first pitch to Jason Bay is in the dirt. And a good stop by Navarro, ball one. So let's talk a little bit about Jason Bay, who has 4 homers in his last 5 games, and that's just the start of it. Pedroia with the lead at third. Ortiz at second. Rays leading 2-0. Already plenty of action in the first inning at Fenway as time is called.
I did an interview before this game about Jason Bay. Part of the reason for his success, he's been very, very selective. He will not go out of the strike zone to swing the bat.
Fouls it off to the right. Each of his last 7 home runs have occurred with men on base. And 4 of his last 5 have been 3-run homers. So Jason Bay has been a late bloomer as far as the long ball in games. And there are always men on the bases, it seems, when he goes deep. 1 ball and 1 strike, 2 on for the Red Sox, and a fastball on the inside edge. And it's 1-2 to Bay.
A lot of people think Jason Bay's all of a sudden come of age. Jason Bay was the starting left fielder batting cleanup in the 2006 All-Star game in Pittsburgh. He is a good hitter.
Swings and misses on a fastball out of the strike zone and goes down for the second out. So that's a big out for Scott Kazmir.
That pitch on the outside corner. That's after coming in. And for the first time in days, Jason Bay does not deliver.
And with less than 2 out and runners at second and third, Kazmir with the big first strikeout. Here's Mike Lowell. And he's been red hot at the plate, hitting .308, 26 runs batted in, 8th in the league. 2 out, 2 on, and the pitch for a strike to Lowell. A weird inning for the Red Sox as Pedroia walked. And on a check swing, base hit to left field by Ortiz. Chance to get Pedroia at second with no one covering third and a bad throw, and they ended up with second and third. But Kazmir striking out Bay and has the count 1-1 to Lowell.
To my knowledge, Dick, obstruction was not called on Bartlett because Pedroia went to third base anyway. Then the overthrow of second base allowed Ortiz to go to second.
And a fair ball, ground ball behind the bag to Longoria. Makes the throw, and it's in time. Great play by Pena as he managed to get his foot on the bag on the wild throw.
Showed why he won the Gold Glove in the American League last year.
So the Red Sox don't score. They leave 2 runners in scoring position on a sensational play by Pena at first. And welcome back to Fenway Park. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Taco Bell. And in the top of the second inning, Jason Bartlett leading off against John Lester. Fouls off the first pitch out of play. Overcast day and the lights on before the game as Bartlett steps in. He is the top hitting shortstop in Major League Baseball, hitting .355. Not bad in the field either, Timmy, with only 2 errors. And he has really been a solid foundation player for this franchise. Pops this one up into short left field. Lugo is going out and gives way to Jason Bay for out number 1. Fox Saturday Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Think outside the bun. And sponsored by Sprint. Get more done with Nextel Direct Connect, only on the Now Network. And by One A Day Men's, the official multivitamin of MLB, specially formulated to support prostate health. Gabe Kapler swinging on the first pitch and a big hop to third, and Lowell throws him out. So quickly 2 down for the Rays in the second.
Gabe Kapler, a very interesting story. He retired as an active player after the 2005 series. Or season, I beg your pardon, after 2006. He managed for the Red Sox, the Greenville, South Carolina minor league team, Class A ball, and thought he would fulfill his competitive desire by managing. Found out that was not happening. He wanted to play again, felt better, and he was with Milwaukee last year, and the Rays picked him up this year during the offseason.
And he hit .301 in 96 games last year for the Brewers. Gabe Kapler, who was a very popular player in his time in Boston, 4 years with the Red Sox, and Akinori Iwamura way behind on that fastball, and Lester has the count, no balls and 2 strikes in his favor. Very efficient inning thus far for John Lester. Got the first 2 batters and ahead of Iwamura, and it's now 1-2. John Lester 4-1 against Tampa Bay in 8 regular season starts, but was 0-2 against the Rays in the ALCS and a losing pitcher in the deciding game. Iwamura staying alive. Was 0 for 4 last night. Had a hit in 17 straight games. And his batting average had slipped. Leonard Navarro, Rays catcher, would be next. 1 ball and 2 strikes again in the dirt, and the count 2-2.
Speaking of hitting streaks, Ryan Zimmerman, the terrific third baseman for the Washington Nationals, carries a 28-game hitting streak into today's action. Washington playing in Arizona.
That's halfway to 56.
That's correct.
For those keeping score. And there's a drive hit to deep right field. Back goes Baldelli, and this ball is off the wall, and into second is Akinori Iwamura with a 2-out double. So right back is Iwamura after having a 17-game string with a base hit snap. Comes right back with a double here.
Dick, we were talking to Joe Madden before the game, and he introduced, as he often does, he introduced an element to the game that I have never really thought about. The Tampa Bay Rays are the only team, to my knowledge, that keep fly ball batting averages. And Akimura, his fly ball batting average was 118. In other words, what that means is whenever a player hits a ball in the air, what is his batting average? And that's an effort to get guys like Jason Bartlett and Iwamura to hit the ball from a line drive down, hard ground balls and line drives. It's been effective for Bartlett so far this season, but I have never heard of a team keeping fly ball batting averages. It's fascinating.
And it makes so much sense because he hit lazy fly balls versus line drives. Well, look at Iwamura on that last at bat.
That's right. That was not a lazy fly ball. That had some giddy up on it.
The count is 0-1 to Leonard Navarro, batting 9th in the order, switch hitter for the Rays, leading 2-0 with Iwamura on at second, and 2 down. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Rays catcher. hitting .077 against left-handers this year, and B.J. Upton waiting in the on-deck circle.
The reason that's so important for a guy like Iwamura, the ballparks in Japan are much, much smaller than they are in the United States. Fly balls over there are home runs, not here.
Breaking pitch, and it misses. 2 balls and a strike to Navarro. John Lester from Tacoma, Washington. He, like Scott Kazmir, 25 years old, big, rangy right-hander, coming off a victory over the Yankees. John Farrell, the Red Sox pitching coach. Lester, one of the top left-handers in the league, and there goes the runner to third, and the pitch is taken for the strike as Iwamura gets into third, unchallenged, with his 6th stolen base of the year without a call.
The Red Sox do not cover with 2 out. That's what Terry Francona said in the paper the other day. And when other American League teams find out that the Red Sox publicly are not covering in situations like that, they'll send the runner more often with 2 out and a runner on at second base.
2-2 pitches fouled off, and you can say, well, there are 2 out, but you know, you get a wild pitch.
Sure. Error, infield
pass
hit.
Ball.
Yeah, absolutely. Maury Wills, the great base runner of the Dodgers, figured it out one time, and he said there are 16 different ways to score from third base with 2 outs than second base. And obviously, with 2 outs, I do not have the time to go over all 16.
And neither did Maury Wills when he was on the base paths, because he was taking off. I don't think he went, let me count the 16 again.
But I think Maury was the first guy who introduced the steal of third with 2 outs as being very, very important.
One of the great base stealers of all time. Stole over 100 bases for the Los Angeles Dodgers when they relied on a base hit, stolen base, sacrifice flies to get the runs for Sandy Koufax and Don Drysdale. They're great pitchers. And there's a line drive to left field. Jason Bay is there to make the catch, and that'll do it. Iwamura stranded on second after an inning and a half. It's 2-0 Tampa Bay. Lime, the drinkability of Bud Light with the refreshing taste of lime. Well, here's our poll question today. Should Manny Ramirez play in the 2009 All-Star Game? Log on to foxsports.com/MLB to vote.
That is provided he is voted into the All-Star game. He returns to the Dodgers on July 3rd. And wouldn't that be an ironic situation for Major League Baseball to handle if Manny Ramirez starts in left field in the All-Star game? And really, there's nothing Major League Baseball can do about it, Dick.
Let's see what the fans out there feel as Rocco Baldelli takes ball one. Baldelli, of course, a former Tampa Bay Ray, coming off the DL with a hamstring problem on Thursday. And the count 2 balls and no strikes from Scott Kazmir, who pitched out of a first inning jam. Baldelli's been up 17 times this year. Jeff Bailey, the first baseman, waiting on deck. And it's fouled off. So Baldelli, who's had his problems in the past, missed 100 games with fatigue syndrome, returned for postseason in a Tampa Bay uniform last year. Here is the 2-1 pitch. And it's popped out of play. Navarro gives chase, and it's on the screen. So the Manny Ramirez dilemma. Ken Rosenthal, your thoughts?
Well, Dick, basically, in this day and age, with baseball's testing as difficult and tough as it is, you have to be a fool to put yourself in the position that Manny did in obviously getting suspended. Basically, players are told, these are the supplements that are banned. These are the substances that are banned. If you have any questions, go to your trainer, your team doctor, whoever the case might be, and get it cleared, get it straight. Manny obviously abdicated his responsibility on that front.
I'll tell you, in my opinion, that was not a shocking development at all, because the way I look at it.
And a drive to left field, could be out of here, and it is. Rocco Baldelli with his first home run of the season on a rising shot into the seats above the Green Monster, and the Red Sox climb back to within 2-1. And we still obviously want to hear your thoughts on that other issue.
Rocco Baldelli's first extra base hit as a Red Sox against his ex-teammates and good friend Scott Kazmir.
And Jeff Bailey on the first pitch singles to center field. So already 3 hits off of Kazmir. So maybe not the first inning blues for him, Tim. Maybe it's the second inning problems for him, as Bailey is aboard with nobody out.
Well, talking about Manny, it didn't shock me, because this is just the latest in a trail of abuses of baseball by Manny Ramirez. I mean, the Boston Red Sox will tell you that. I mean, he abused that organization last year, knocking down their traveling secretary, not running hard, which was his want for so many years, faking an injury, and refusing to play. He did all that last July. I'll tell you what, Dick, one thing is clear, that Manny being Manny saying that refrain that was ridiculous, that excused every insult to civility, is over.
Well put, partner. Jason Varitek taking ball 1 with Bailey on at first base. There's Theo Epstein, who made the daring move, and believe me, not everyone agreed with it when they decided to trade Manny, and they picked up Jason Bay. And look at what Bay has done for the Red Sox. Swing and a miss by Varitek. And also, you know, the other thing I noticed, the day of the suspension by Manny Ramirez, that night, 37,000 fans came out to Dodger Stadium to see them against the Washington Nationals. Fans want to come to the ballpark, want to be happy. They love baseball. And I think that's really the bottom line here. One and one, and foul out of play. And Ken Rosenthal, you know, you have to say Major League Baseball was front and center in adhering to the policies and punishing.
Absolutely right, Dick. And anyone who questions whether baseball would suspend one of its true superstars, well, those questions were answered. Baseball didn't necessarily have to pursue this as aggressively as it did. The first issue was with Manny was when his urine came up questionable, and at that point, baseball was headed to an arbitration. Well, the arbitration was probably a 50-50 proposition. Baseball might have won, baseball might have lost. But instead, baseball kept pursuing it. Went after Manny's medical records, and that's when it came up that the banned substance was something that he had been prescribed.
Jason Varitek strikes out. Thank you, Ken. And that will be the first out here in the second inning. Rays lead it 1-0.
We talked about the tilt on the slider of Scott Kazmir in our scouting report. And what that means is when there is tilt, the slider goes down. That means the pitcher is staying on top of the ball. It sounds so simple. It's such a simple refrain again, but it was indicative there as Varitek struck out.
Here's Julio Lugo batting ninth, the Red Sox shortstop, taking strike one. He's been up 24 times this year and hitting .333. Activated off the DL on Monday after undergoing right knee surgery. There's Jeff Bailey with the lead at first base. Baldelli led off with a home run to cut the Rays lead to 2-1. High and away, and it's 1-1 to Lugo. And what an adventurous year it's been for Red Sox shortstop. Jed Lowry with wrist surgery, and they don't expect him back till around the All-Star break. And then Nick Green has come in and has done a solid job at the plate. And then Lugo got healthy. And there's a bunt, and a good one. Longoria can't handle it, and Lugo is on with a base hit. Lugo was playing back at third, or I should say Longoria back at third, and Lugo is on with a bunt single, runners at first and second.
Good play by Lugo, and Jeff Bailey had an idea about going to third. This is actually the catcher's responsibility to cover third base. Navarro stopped. Longoria recovered in time to keep him from going to third. But if you're the catcher right there, you just keep going and cover third base. But Navarro stopped to pick the ball up without thinking. That had Bailey continued, chance of getting to third.
So that's twice that the Rays have not covered
that's right.
their bases.
That's right.
So to speak.
That's right.
Third to be exact. Here's Jacoby Ellsbury. Fastball in tight, and it's 1-0. Red Sox now with one out, runners at first and second, and trying to come back against the Rays. Last night they were down 3-0, and then came the magical sixth inning. That has been an inning of charm for the Red Sox in the last couple of days. Again inside to Ellsbury, and the count 2-0. Ellsbury fly to left his first time up. Bailey the runner at second, Lugo on at first, and Pena playing behind him at first base. And the count runs 3-0 now to Ellsbury. One pitch away from loading them up for Dustin Pedroia. In for the strike, 3-1. Red Sox at 19-11 as you look at the runners on base and the defensive alignment for Tampa Bay. 8 games over 500, the best they've been all year, and a foul off the foot of Ellsbury, and the count will be even at or full at 3-2.
After falling behind 3-0, he comes back to get 2 strikes against Ellsbury. No way can you put Ellsbury on and expect to pitch well in this inning. Not with Pedroia coming up. You've got to make Ellsbury hit the ball. There are good walks and bad walks. You walk him, it's a bad walk.
3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 out and 1 on. Red Sox looking for more, and there's a drive hit to right field. Kepler going back, and Kepler makes the catch on the edge of the warning track. The runners go back, and that'll be the second out. So Ellsbury retired on a drive to right field, and with 2 down, Dustin Pedroia coming up.
And Jeff Bailey's got to be on third base. When an outfielder turns his back to the infield, there's no way you can't walk to third base. But Jeff Bailey caught himself halfway instead of about a third of the way to give him a chance to get back to third. See, he's halfway. Now he doesn't know what to do. He's caught in between. But if you're about a third of the way to third base, that gives you a chance to go back, tag up, and get to third base, particularly with Kepler with his back to the infield.
Here is Pedroia, line shot foul into the stands. So for the second straight inning, Scott Kazmir trying to pitch Tampa Bay out of trouble here. Pedroia walked and was left at third base. Ortiz at second last inning.
I know Don Zimmer, number 61 in the Tampa Bay Rays organization, is listening to this game and hanging on every word, and will tell us about it next Saturday when we do the Rays again. But base running, as Zim says, the most important offensive feature.
Going around is Pedroia, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. You can run yourself out of a big inning.
And most baseball mistakes on the bases are made by being too tentative and not taking the extra base. I mean, how many times do you see outfielders throwing runners out? Not often.
One and 2 to Pedroia. Rocco Baldelli led off the second inning with a home run to cut the Rays' lead, and David Ortiz on the on-deck circle. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Pedroia. Red Sox runners at first and second, 2 down. Another foul ball down the left field line.
By the way, Boston baseball fans are familiar with Don Zimmer, aren't they?
I would think Don Zimmer was a coach when Darrell Johnson managed the Red Sox into the '75 World Series. He was the third base coach, and then of course managed the Red Sox for a couple of years.
Took over the second half of '76.
And a chuckle in your voice as you bring that up.
He's a national treasure. He's like this ballpark is. One of the great people in games ever seen.
Fly ball hit to left center field. And Crawford looking up at Upton, who makes the catch for the out. And again, the Red Sox leave 2 on base. 2-1 in favor of Tampa Bay. And we'll return to Boston after a word from your local Fox station. Taco Bell think outside the bunt. Top of the order for the Tampa Bay Rays, B.J. Upton fouls off the first pitch straight back for a strike. Flied out to Baldelli in short right field, his first time up. So it'll be Upton, Crawford, and Longoria facing John Lester here in the third inning. And it'll be a foul ball down the right field line. No balls and 2 strikes to B.J. Upton. There's Crawford waiting on deck. Upton, of course, had a great ALCS at .321 with 4 homers against the Red Sox. Then the shoulder surgery and a slow start, very slow indeed, as the pitch taken down low for ball 1, 1 and 2. Here's the 1-2. Slap to the left side, and it's Lugo. 1 down here in the 3rd inning. And Carl Crawford coming to the plate. So Upton is 0 for 2. And here's Carl Crawford, longest tenured Ray in his 8th year.
And Joe Madden telling us before the game that he thinks Carl Crawford is at his peak right now, that he has never been a better ball player, and that's saying something.
And likes his team very much, despite the fact that they're 3 games under 500, Tim. He says, you know, we've got a lot of players who haven't been close to reaching their potential. So they've got a very bright future, and their recent past isn't bad either. As Crawford takes ball 2, 2-0.
Young and fast. There's animation. There's movement. A lot of the managers in the American League talk about how the Rays defensively converge on the ball. This is much like a defensive back in football who's always around the ball, right?
Going for the loose ball, basketball. Who gets the loose ball on the floor?
A team speed.
And a together team. And you know, Joe Madden was telling us, he said, I can just watch my team out there in batting practice, and I know they're saying the right things. The same thing in the clubhouse, you know, that they are together. And you have to read body language as a manager today. At least the smart ones do, and know how a team is doing. And they're the Rays, still with a lot of confidence. 3-1 pitch over for the strike, and a full count to Carl Crawford.
Well, there are no 2 managers in baseball that have a better pulse on their teams than the managers of these 2 teams today. Terry Francona of the Red Sox and Joe Madden of the Rays.
And Crawford goes down swinging, way behind that fastball from Lester, and that will be his first strikeout of the game.
Lester just blowing Crawford away. Carl walking on 4 straight balls out of the strike zone. Longoria, the big hit in this game, the 2-run home run after all of those throws to first base made by Lester trying to get Crawford.
So quickly 2 down. Evan Longoria, 2-run homer his first time up, his 11th home run of the year, and now 41 runs batted in, adding to his RBI lead in the American League. No balls and a strike. Long look and time called at the plate. Interesting about the Rays, as you see Pena on deck for Tampa Bay as Longoria fouls it at the plate. No balls, 2 strikes. Is that after taking that opening series at Fenway, 2 out of 3, they lost 6 series in a row before they took 3 out of 4 from the Red Sox. And
yeah, Boston's the only team against which the Tampa Bay Rays are over 500. 5-3 going into today's game.
And 5 games under 500 against the rest of the league. Right now they think all they're playing are the Red Sox and the Yankees.
After these 2 teams play each other tomorrow night, the next time they face one another, August 4th.
The 0-2 pitch, and moves him back some. 1-2 to Longoria.
Have to do it.
There you see the Red Sox percentage points ahead of the Toronto Blue Jays, and what a start Toronto has had. And Tampa Bay 1 game behind the Yankees. And Longoria strikes out. So Lester strikes out Crawford and Longoria. 1-2-3 inning, and in the middle of the 3rd, it's 2-1 Tampa Bay. Kyle Busch will try to defend his title against a full field of the world's best drivers. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing from Darlington begins tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific in high definition here on Fox. David Ortiz looking at ball one. He had a check swing single down the left field line, and Evan Longoria playing a little more honest now, wide of the bag, and there's a fly ball hit to right field. Kapler is back there and on the warning track, and this may be the closest Big Papi has come to hitting a home run in some time.
I was thinking the same thing, Dick. To reiterate, no home runs in his first 149 at-bats now.
You know, he had a few in batting practice halfway up the bleachers, and you never saw a happier player in batting practice before a game. Here's Jason Bay, struck out his first time up, and 0-1 to Bay.
Well, I think there's such a difference in David Ortiz and what he's produced over the last 7.5 years for the Red Sox and what's happened this year. It is so stark.
And a fair ball behind the bag again. Longoria with the throw, drills it to Pena for the out. And Bay is retired for the second out of the inning.
You know, if he had 3 or 4 home runs and, you know, batting .250 or stuff like that, everybody would have a tendency to say, well, wait till he gets started. But he's coming off a wrist injury last year. He missed, what, 60 games with the wrist injury. And there are a lot of Red Sox fans that are not convinced that he's healthy. And that's the major concern. He's young enough to come back, but is he healthy enough to come back?
Mike Lowell, and swings at the first pitch and sends BJ Upton deep to center field, where he makes the catch. And the Red Sox hitting him deep, and a 1-2-3 inning for Kazmir. 2-1 the Rays. It all starts with this. John Lester facing Carlos Pena as the Tampa Bay Rays bat in the 4th inning, leading 2-1. Pena lined out to Ellsbury in center his first time up and takes a strike. Pena played 18 games with the Red Sox in the 2006 season, so there are a lot of players out here today who have been with both clubs. The two right fielders in particular, Kapler and Baldelli. No balls and 2 strikes now to Pena.
It's like an announcer being with different networks.
That happens, you know.
That happens.
You know that. Somebody once said you would know as well as anyone.
Oh, you got that right.
That's because it makes you an MVA, most valuable announcer. No balls and 2 strikes to Pena. And it's 1-2. On deck for the Rays is their designated hitter, Pat Burrell.
But Carlos, a terrific story. He's from the Boston area. Moved to Haverhill, Mass when he was 12 years old with his family. And went to Northeastern University. His family wanted him educated in the United States. He's a very, very bright guy, a bright baseball man. And he is some hitter. 90 home runs over the last 2 years.
10th year in the big leagues, 3rd with Tampa Bay. Lester's 1-2 pitch, and he gets him on a pitch outside, and Pena's down. 3 straight strikeouts for John Lester, and they're 1 down in the 4th inning. Talked with the Red Sox pitching coach John Farrell, and remarked that Lester seemingly has settled down since his problems in the 1st inning.
Yeah, he really is. I think in the 1st inning it was more the walk than the home run to Longoria, which, you know, we certainly respect each of their hitters, but Longoria has been on such a hot streak here throughout the course of the early part of the season. But I think when we see John start to throw his curveball for strikes, that's more of an indication of that the rhythm is starting to develop, and he's starting to carry that through here in the middle innings.
John, what specifically do you talk to your pitchers about with speed on at first base?
Well, the biggest thing is to control it, to vary their looks and vary their holds. Certainly with Crawford, who is really wreaking havoc on the base paths in the early going here, it's to not have their concentration be caught in between. The most important thing is to be decisive if they're going to make a pick to first base. But then when they determine they're going to make a pitch to home plate, is to be convicted to execute each and every time.
Hey, John, thanks for joining us. Appreciate
it.
And we saw the duel between Lester and Crawford in that 1st inning. Fascinating to watch. And what was really interesting is that Crawford not running on 3-2 pitches to protect Longoria's concentration.
That is absolutely right.
Pat Burrell with a long single off the wall with 1 out here in the 4th inning, and Jason Bartlett, shortstop, hitting superbly, coming into the game 6th in the American League, batting .355, and the count 1-0. This ballpark, you could hit a line shot and wind up with 1 base if it's hit hard enough off the wall in left field.
Yeah, you can make a case that ball Burrell hit would have been out of a lot of ballparks. It's a single here at Fenway.
Call strike 1-1.
The monster giveth, and the monster obviously the rest of it.
And we remember Jim Rice, who got into the Hall of Fame. And there you see the dimples and the wall in left field. Jim Rice, I don't know how many home runs he didn't get because he hit shots off of the left field wall.
Great Boston slugger, will be inducted into the Hall of Fame this year. Well deserved.
Good pitch off the fist by Lester, and the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. And there is Jim Ed Rice, who came up as a rookie the same year as Fred Lynn in 1975. MVP in '78, 8-time All-Star, and after a long wait will be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
I'll tell you how strong Jim Rice was. In 1975, I was with the Red Sox, and I saw 2 check swing broken bats by Jim Rice. Check swing, broken bat. Tremendous strength.
1-2 pitch, hit it in the air down the right field line, and slicing foul. And of course, I don't know if anyone ever had a shorter stroke than Rice.
Think about what Joe Madden might be thinking right now. He was talking about fly ball batting averages. Jason Bartlett has popped up, and he's hit foul balls in the air. And as we said earlier, Joe telling us about fly ball batting averages and trying to impress upon Jason to hit the ball from a line drive down.
1-2 pitch and low. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Bartlett, who's acquired with Matt Garza in the trade with the Minnesota Twins, and that has been a boom trade for Tampa Bay, getting Garza. who has been outstanding in the rotation, and Bartlett, who has solidified shortstop position. There's Matt Garza. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and it fouled at the plate. Well, you can catch even more Tim McCarver. I can't get enough of him, frankly, on a live interactive Q&A this Thursday, May 14th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at foxsports.com. That'll be Thursday, May 14th, 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific at foxsports.com to talk to Tim McCarver.
It's my first one. And depending on how it goes, whether it's my last one or not, we don't know yet.
I did one the other day, as a matter of fact, and you're going to enjoy it as the pitch is fouled back.
Right.
He was seen talking to Ken Rosenthal a little earlier. As you see, Kapler, the former Red Sox outfielder, on deck. It's very interesting, and the fans have a lot of good questions.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
And smart questions, covering a lot of different topics in baseball. The hour goes fast. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Bartlett. Rays lead at 2-1 here in the top of the 4th. And Bartlett misses the pitch and goes down. That is the 4th strikeout, 2nd this inning for John Lester.
That was a cut fastball, and then the cut fastball sails inside to the right-handed batter. Good pitch from Lester.
Gabe Kapler bounced to third his first time up. So Lester, who retired the side in order last inning, giving up a 1-out single to Pat Burrell, has 2 strikeouts last inning and 2 so far here in the 4th. There's a strike. 0-1. Pat Burrell, the runner at first. 3 hits for Tampa Bay. 2-run homer by Longoria in the first. A 2-out double by Iwamura in the second. And Burrell's 1-out single here in the 4th. And they've got him trapped. And the throw hits the runner. And Burrell, heading over to third base, will get there safely.
That's what a first baseman tries to do, is come toward the pitcher to get the angle to throw so you don't hit the runner. This is a throw over given by Jason Varitek. The thumb is a throw over. So the throw over by Lester, the problem with Jeff Bailey, an inexperienced first baseman, he didn't come far enough toward the pitcher to cut down the angle. The ball hits Burrell, and Pat goes to third base.
So an error charge to Jeff Bailey, the first baseman, and Burrell is on at third. The count is 0-1 to Gabe Kapler with 2 out.
You could almost give 2 errors on that play. 1 error for allowing Burrell to go to second, and the throw hitting him, allowing him to go to third.
And Kapler gets into an 0-2 hole here.
Watch Jeff Bailey. You try to, if you're particularly a right-handed thrower, in order to get a good angle to throw the ball to second base, you go as close to the pitcher as you can. If you're the runner, you try to run inside the line to have the ball hit you. And that's what Burrell was doing. Bailey didn't go far enough toward the pitcher, and it's a throwing error.
And a tough angle that Bailey had.
Right. Well, that's the thing you try to do. You try to clear that angle and go as far to the pitcher as you can before you make the throw.
So a stolen base and an error. And Burrell is at third, but the count 0-2 to Kapler, and now it's a ball and 2 strikes. John Lester giving up the 2-run homer to Longoria. His 8th home run given up on the year as Iwamura waits. And that's accounted for the 2 Tampa Bay runs. The Red Sox getting a run on Baldelli's leadoff homer in the second. And strike 3, Kapler goes down, and the Rays get the runner to third, but that's it. And we've completed 3.5 here at Fenway Park. Tampa Bay leading 2-1. to Tampa to take on Evan Longoria and these Rays, or the Mets battle the Giants, or the Angels take on the Rangers in a showdown between division rivals. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, returns next week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Fox. Baldelli with a base hit through the hole in left field past the diving Bartlett, and Rocco Baldelli with a home run and now a single, and the Red Sox with the tying run on at first.
Dancing in the streets of Woonsocket, Rhode Island. Rocco, not necessarily a Red Sox fan growing up, and here he is in a Boston uniform and doing well.
What goes around can come around.
Yes, sir.
Here's Jeff Bailey. Hit the first pitch for a single up the middle back in the second inning, and he takes a ball outside.
Rocco Baldelli with mitochondrial myopathy, a genetic disorder that causes fatigue and muscle fatigue.
And a ground ball to third, could be two, and an around the horn double play, and the Red Sox have a two down, nobody on, as Bailey hits into a Longoria Iwamura Pena double play.
Easily turned by the Rays. But we asked Joe Madden before the game about signing Rocco Baldelli. He said they were very interested, but having him play because of his malady, having him play 2 games in a row was a problem. The Red Sox are finding that out now, and he said, I hope he recovers and has a terrific major league career, because he is one super guy.
And he is. Jason Varitek taking low ball 1, struck out his first time up. So a pitcher's duel here at Fenway Park, here in the middle of the 4th inning, between Scott Kazmir and John Lester. Rays leading 2-1. Red Sox have hit Tampa Bay 5-3, and the count 2-0 to Varitek. Two down, none on. And Julio Lugo, the number 9 hitter, would be next. Out of play, and it's 2-1. Scott Kazmir, 2 starts in the ALCS last year and not involved in a decision in either game, but was the winning pitcher in last year's All-Star game at Yankee Stadium. And of course, this year's All-Star game will be in St. Louis.
St. Louis.
What a great play. And they haven't had it there
since 66, right? 1966.
And the count full, 3-2, as Varitek fouls it off to the right. What a scene that's going to be, Tim.
Oh, yeah, Dick. July 14th. Right here on Fox.
So mark it down on your calendars.
Yes, sir, baby.
Midsummer Classic from the new Busch Stadium. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Varitek, and he walks. And that is the second walk issued by Scott Kazmir. We talked with Joe Madden, the Tampa Bay manager, and of course the big concern was Scott Kazmir in the first inning, and he seemed to pass that test.
He got through that very nicely. That's just one of those things that's been going on from to this point in the season. We'll be doing a lot of work trying to do something slightly different in regard to pregame preparation. I had a meeting with him today along with the catcher and Hick and the defense, just trying to get him focused a little bit earlier.
Joe, if you could explain to our audience a fly ball batting average, what you've tried to impress upon Jason Bartlett this year.
Well, we do that with all our guys. I mean, if you look at, if a guy doesn't have a whole lot of power, fly balls are just normally outs, and especially fly balls to center field. So you get little guys having just enough power to be a bad hitter. So the more they hit the ball on the ground or on the line, then the batting average is going to show up in a much more positive way. So with all of our guys, we track that. And of course, Carlos is going to have a higher batting average when he hits the ball in the air, because he's going to hit it over the wall or off the wall. Guys like JB and Aki need to get more on the line and on the ground.
Well, Joe, thank you. You know what? If we talked about all of your innovations, we'd be have you on mic for about 7 innings. But thank you for your time.
You're very kind. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
And we're back at Fenway Park. John Lester facing the Rays here in the 5th inning. Iwamura, and I'm going to show you a special moment in Red Sox history for the team, the player involved, and some other people as well, as Iwamura, who doubled his first time up and was stranded at third, will be followed by Deano Navarro in the top of the order, B.J. Upton. 2-1, the Rays lead. And the count 2 balls and no strikes. On deck is Navarro. Solid pitching duel between Lester and Kazmir on a cloudy afternoon in Boston. 2-0 pitch is fouled off. Here is that moment. Let's go back to the 1975 World Series.
Who called that?
There it goes, the long drive. If it stays fair, home run.
We know who hit it and who called it.
That's exactly right.
And we are together with you, Tim, and you were with that ball club as well. And there's a shot up the middle and a base hit by Iwamura to start things here in the 5th inning. And what a thrill for me and for all Red Sox fans to have Carlton Fisk here in our booth. And you know, I always, every time I saw you, I say, boy, I really made you famous that night. It's kind of the other way around a little
Well, I'll tell you, it's always special to be with you guys, and especially to be back at this ballpark. I never get tired of coming to this ballpark.
I remember you telling me that you couldn't find a hotel room that night. It was so late. You had to drive back to Charlestown, New Hampshire. And what was happening the moment you hit the home run? That's a fabulous story.
Well, the story there was that as a boy, I attended St. Luke's Episcopal Church, and one of the deacons of the church, when I hit that home run in the middle of the night, he goes from his house to the church, which is right in the middle of town, and starts pulling the rope and ringing the church bell. It was wow. It was. I don't know if anybody was sleeping or not, but after, if they were before, they weren't afterwards.
It'd be a great thrill for you to be with the Red Sox, you know, and be a young, promising catcher coming from New England like you did.
Oh, this was, you know, this was maybe the. People ask me what the biggest thrill was. The biggest thrill was putting on a Red Sox uniform. Growing up just 2.5 hours away up north, and you know, every boyhood's dream in New England is to play in Boston. Mine was to play for the Celtics, but I had to play for the Red Sox all the time.
It kind of worked out for you,
really. It sure did.
And a Hall of Famer, and of course, what a great game that was, because that World Series kind of brought baseball back, you know, into the eye of the public.
That's what I understood. I don't think I understood at the time. You know, I was just so happy that. But I can remember certain parts of that year, earlier that year, and the year before, where this Fenway Park was not filled up.
Oh, I remember that.
I can remember when we had, you know, 7, 8, 10,000 people in this ballpark, and then almost every game since '75, it's been jammed.
485 consecutive sellouts.
Well, look at this ballpark. You know, when we played it, the luxury boxes weren't here, the upper deck wasn't here, the in-house advertising was not here, the scoreboard, the seats on the left field wall. I mean, it's just. I thought they were going to ruin the look of the ballpark by adding all this stuff. It is enhanced.
Still the same.
It's enhanced it tenfold, but it still remains the same ballpark, which is isn't easy to do.
And a lot of the parks change shape. Now, what's your feelings about this year's team in particular, Butch?
You know, the thing about, and they always have trouble with this team they're playing, the Rays, because they have such a young team and they're kind of unpredictable. They have a young pitching staff, which makes them more unpredictable. But the thing that's got to happen here with the Red Sox is that they just have to have the good pitching efforts all year long.
Trying to sacrifice B.J. Upton, who's been mired in a slump and safe at first place, and the bases loaded with nobody out. That'll be a base hit for B.J. Upton, and he can use it.
The Rays got the call as Lester goes over, and with a left-handed pitcher who has to make the spin, he can't really. That's a good call. I thought he was out initially, but it looked like first base umpire Scott Barry made the right call.
That's about you and me, Tim. Tie goes to the runner.
Yeah.
How come we never get a tie at first base?
We didn't get it, but we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Carl Crawford is up at plate now. Both, now Tim was a catcher. Tim, along with Bob Montgomery and yourself, were the catchers on the 75 team to start the year.
That's true. Well, I started the year on the disabled list, and that's why Tim was here. And
that's right.
Ground ball, the hole in left field, base hit, and 1 run scores as Iwamura comes across. They hold Navarro at third. The bases remain loaded on Carl Crawford's RBI single. Still nobody out. Bases loaded, and Longoria coming to the plate.
Ton of trouble. Go ahead, Carl.
Well, I was just talking about in 75 when Tim was with the ball club. He comes over from the National League, and it was a veteran. And the first thing people started asking him was, well, you don't throw as good as you used to throw. But the one thing that impressed me about Tim, and one quote says, when you get older, people don't concentrate or look at the things you can do. They look at the few things you can't do or don't do as well.
Remember that.
Now, if you do the same thing as a young player, they never look at the negative part of that. It's always look at the 98 things he can do well. But look at that old guy. Look at the 2 things he can't do as well as he used to do.
Great commentary on Tim. Bases are loaded, 1 run in, and good stop in the dirt by Varitek.
And that's why he's so valuable right there.
That's an appreciated play in this booth right now.
It certainly is.
I guess so. By both of you guys. Both outstanding defensive catchers. Rays with a run in. It's 3-1.
Terrific play. Ball bouncing in front of the plate, blocked by Varitek.
I used to do this when, maybe more when games really get out of hand, but because it's tough to pay attention when one way or another the other team's just pounding the dog out, either you're doing it or the other guy. But a play like that, I used to keep track of that. Pitches blocked resulting in runs saved. And right there's a run saved, and the teams, the runners would move up. So now if this guy hits a fly ball or ground ball, whatever it is, there's 2 runs you saved.
That's right.
Lester trying to pitch out of some serious damage, and that one really almost took the head off of Navarro, the runner at third base. Count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. So critical moment here for John Lester.
And you get back to that one statistic that I was talking about, that at the end of 1 year, 1977, I say 283 runs.
Yeah, that's great. And that's pre-agent days, right?
2-2 pitch and a high fly ball hit to left field, and Bay going back, and this one is high off the wall, and 2 runs will come across, and holding at third base is Upton. So a 2-run double by Evan Longoria, and the Rays now lead it 5-1, and that came within a foot of going out of here for another Grand Slam homer, which Longoria hit against the Red Sox in Tampa.
Think of the 2 fastballs he's hit today. One was low and away, and then Lester tried to get inside. The American League pitchers are finding out that you cannot get inside with any consistent manner when you're pitching to Longoria. He is lightning quick in there.
He is, but the reason he is that he has no fear.
That's right. That's right.
What used to be, of course, it's us old guys talking. It used to be if a guy was getting that comfortable at the plate where he could take a low ball outside and hook it to left field wall, that means he's leaning over the plate too much.
That's right.
And the old days, the guy wouldn't allow him to do that. He'd stand him up straight, knock him down, make his feet move, and then you can pitch inside because he wouldn't be as comfortable.
Carlos Pena stepping in, still nobody out. 3 runs in, runners at second and third with nobody out. And a big inning already for the Rays, and a shot foul ball down the right field line. Well, I have to tell you, thanks for coming in, Pudge. It was great to see you again, and
it was a pleasure doing all I could for you, Dick, in your life. You met your lovely wife that night.
I did. I met Leslie that before the game. And you know what she says? Meeting me wasn't even the best thing to happen to you that day.
That's right. That wasn't the best thing that happened. It was the best thing that happened to you, but maybe not the best thing that happened to her.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Nice going, Pudge. Great job.
Hall of Fame Red Sox catcher Carlton Fisk, who also starred with the Chicago White Sox. Meanwhile, the count is 0-1, and a check swing strike to Carlos Pena. And no balls and 2 strikes. Left-hander Hunter Jones is in the bullpen for the Red Sox. And 3 runs in. So a 2-run first and a 3-run 5th inning. And it's 5-1 as the Rays have out-hit the Red Sox 8-5. Nobody out. The dangerous Pena and strikes out. Big strikeout, but that's just 1 away, and runners remain at second and third. That is the 6th strikeout for John Lester.
Well, the big play in this inning after the 2 base hits was the inability of Lester to turn the routine play of getting the out with B.J. Upton running. You have to speed things up with this Tampa Bay offense because these guys, we talked about movement earlier. Their movement is rapid fire.
Here's Pat Burrell, singled and stranded at third last time up, 1 for 2. And a foul ball, strike 1. Carl Crawford is at third and Evan Longoria at second. And Longoria has driven in 4 of the 5 Tampa Bay runs so far. Came in the game leading the American League in runs batted in at 39. He's got 44 now and counting. Here's Burrell and a ground ball past Lowell into left field for a base hit. 2 runs will come across, and it's 7-1 now in favor of Tampa Bay for Pat Burrell. RBIs number 15 and 16, and a big inning for the Rays. 5-run 5th. That is the 6th hit here in this 5th inning.
You could see Varitek setting up inside. The pitch was outside, so Lester missed across the plate. A lot of people are inclined to think that pitchers throw it exactly where they want to. Rarely.
So Lester having his troubles here in the 5th inning, and the 8th batter to come up is Jason Bartlett. Takes ball 1 outside. Well, as Carl V said, the Rays have caused so much havoc for the Red Sox. Winning the season series 10-8 last year, winning the ALCS in 7, taking 2 out of 3 to open the season here, 3 out of 4 last weekend, and trying to even this series at 1 apiece. A ground ball through the hole and another base hit. 7 hits here in the 5th inning. Stopping at second base is Pat Burrell. And the Rays are 7 for 8 with Kapler coming up, and that'll be all as Hunter Jones will come in and John Lester will leave the game. Kapler will be the 9th batter to come up in a 5-run inning. Still only 1 out. We'll be right back. tying a career high, and 7 runs, and he's responsible for the runners at first and second, and the 7th appearance of the year for Hunter Jones, whose last outing was Wednesday, pitched an inning in 2/3 against the Indians, gave up a run on 2 hits and walked 2. Facing Gabe Kapler, the 9th man to come up here in the 5th inning, and he takes ball 1. Runners at first and second and 1 out. And a boatload of hits. Iwamura started with a single, followed by Navarro. Upton with a base hit loaded them up. Crawford got 1 home, and then Longoria with a 2-run double. And Burrell driving in 2 with a base hit. There's a strike, and it's 1-1.
Good slider from Jones. Hunter not starting the season with the Red Sox. Came up from Pawtucket on April 15th. Good quick slider.
Hunter Jones, 25 years old, attended Florida State. And steps off the rubber. Burrell, the runner at second, and Jason Bartlett on at first base. And the man who started it all, Akinori Iwamura, waiting on deck. 1 out here in the 5th inning. A 5-run 5th for the Rays. They lead at 7-1, and the pitch in tight. And it's 2 balls and a strike. The Hyundai in-game box score for the Rays. And there you see all of the base hits. In fact, Pena and Kapler are the only Rays not to hit safely. And Kapler with the opportunity here. 2 balls and a strike with 1 out. And it's 3-1. And 1 pitch away from loading him up yet again. Jones was recalled from AAA Pawtucket April 15th when Dice K went on the DL with that arm fatigue. Made his major league debut against the Orioles on the 20th of April. 3-1 pitch and a ground ball through the hole and a base hit. And they're going to hold Burrell at third. And the bases will be loaded once again. Gabe Kapler with the single. And it seems like everything is going through the hole in left field other than the one that almost got out.
That's really true. They are peppering that hole between Lugo and Lowell.
So the bases are loaded now with Burrell at third, Bartlett at second, Kapler at first, and Iwamura, who's 2 for 2 with a double and a single, and has scored 1 of the 7 Rays runs. Still only 1 out. The bases are loaded. Fastball. 0-1 the count to Iwamura. And you talk about the big inning. Well, the Red Sox had the 12 runs in the 6th inning on Thursday against the Indians before the first out, which tied the modern day record. 53 Brooklyn Dodgers managed to do it against the Philadelphia Phillies. Yes, the Dodgers were in Brooklyn before Los Angeles. That pitch misses, and it's 1-1. Hunter Jones in relief of John Lester, who worked 4 1/3. And responsible for the runners on second and third. Bases are loaded, and again, good stop by Varitek. 2-1.
Obviously, the Dodgers moving to Los Angeles in 1958, much to the dismay of the fans in Flatbush, Flatbush area of Brooklyn.
They took a team with them, too.
Yes, they did.
The Giants.
Yes, they did. Horace Stoneham, the owner of the Giants, going to San Francisco, and Walter O'Malley and his Dodgers went to L.A.
Here's the 2-1 pitch, check swing. And they appeal with the third base umpire, Bill Welke. Did not swing, so it's now 3 balls and a strike. You know, the first year that the Dodgers played in Los Angeles at the L.A. Coliseum,
right,
they finished 7th. The next year, they won the World Series, beating the White Sox, and that's where you have the crowds of 92 and 94,000, which will never be surpassed in baseball because of the L.A. Coliseum venue. 3-1 pitch in there for a strike on the outside corner, so the count is full. Akinori Iwamura, who moved from third to second, and that was an important position change to make room for Longoria. Deanna Navarro, who was the second batter up a while back here in the 5th with a single. Waiting. Hunter Jones, 3-2 pitch, and it's slapped to shortstop. Lugo steps on the bag, and that's all as a run will come in. And you wonder if Lugo was going to step on second, whether he would have a play at first base.
I don't think the ball was hit hard enough, not for a guy who runs like Akamura. Going in hard is Kapler to make sure. I don't think he makes that play, not with Akamura's speed.
So it is now an 8-1 game. 6 runs here in the 5th inning, and here's Deanna Navarro, who singled. Navarro 1 for 2. Popped up, chasing it is Bailey, and it's behind the dugout. Actually bounces on the top of the dugout. So it's 0-1. Bartlett, the runner at third base. Iwamura with the lead at first. 2 down. And a fly ball hit to left center field. Backing up is Lugo, makes the catch to retire the side. 11 men come to the plate for the Rays. 6 men cross the plate, and they have 11 hits. It is 8-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th. Well, let's take a look at the Hyundai in-game box score for the Red Sox. Baldelli with the solo home run. That was big at the time in the 2nd inning. And that made it a 2-1 game and kept it close until
the 6th run, 5th for the Rays. Kept the carousel moving.
So Scott Kazmir with a 7-run lead. And the first pitch is a strike to Ellsbury, who is 0 for 2. Last time up, line to Kapler in deep right field. And a ground ball up the middle. Base hit. And Ellsbury starts the 5th inning with a single. That is the 6th hit of the game for the Red Sox.
Thinking of a game about 3 weeks ago when the New York Yankees came in here and had a 6-run lead over the Sox in the 4th inning. Sox scored 5 in the 4th and one going away 16-11.
Here's Dustin Pedroia. And it was, you're right, 6-0, and they overcame that one. So in this ballpark, until the 3rd out of the 9th inning, you can't really safely put away. There's a strike to Pedroia, who is 0 for 1 with a walk his first time. Pedroia hitting .483 in his last 8 games. Chases that one and misses 0-2.
It's the best fastball Kazmir's thrown all afternoon. That fastball away to Pedroia. He really humped up on that one.
Now let a play. And Timmy, you would know as a former catcher, a mindset of a pitcher who had something to prove in getting past the 1st inning today. Big rivalry, close game, and all of a sudden staked to an 8-1 lead in the 5th inning to retain that concentration.
I'll tell you, if that's a problem for a pitcher, then he really has a problem.
Into the dirt, and Ellsbury running will go into second base.
But I have often heard that argument about a pitcher who cannot pitch with a big lead. I'll tell you, if I were a pitcher, you give me a big lead and I'll try my best. That ball looked like it hit Pedroia in the left leg, I thought.
It bounced before him, apparently. Well, it was ruled a wild pitch.
Yeah.
And Ellsbury is on at second. And it's 1-2 now to the Red Sox second baseman. And watch out, Big Papi as a line shot, and David Ortiz had to hit the dirt in a hurry. Now that you're close on that one.
I guess it hit the glove of Navarro, but it certainly from that angle it looked like it hit the left knee of Dustin Pedroia, but I guess not.
How about Ortiz?
Get down, David.
Big Papi had to become Little Papi for a while. And as a drive hit to right field, and making the catch is Kapler. Kapler was playing Pedroia perfectly in shallow right field, and the line drive hit right to him. So that is the first out here in the 5th inning, and here is Ortiz.
With 2 strikes, a guy like Pedroia has pull power to left field, but he doesn't have power the other way. That's why Kapler was in.
So here's Ortiz, who had a check swing single down the left field line past third base, then flied out, and it was a deep fly ball his last time up to the warning track. Still without a home run this season. Amazing. And a slow hit bounding ball to the right side. Iwamura making the play, and there are 2 down as Ellsbury goes to third. Ken Rosenthal.
Dick, the Red Sox are not yet ready, obviously, to give up on David Ortiz. He had a dismal April last year, bounced back. And if you remember, a year ago at this time, Carlos Delgado of the Mets looked finished. That said, if Ortiz's struggles continue into June and July, the Red Sox will not hesitate to find a replacement. Could be someone internally like Chris Carter, or they could go outside, get a named player in a trade.
All right, Ken, thank you very much. Chris Carter, by the way, hit 7 home runs in the Grapefruit League, and that's why Jeff Bailey did not start the season with the club. Ellsbury at third in an 8-1 game, and the pitch taken outside for a ball. Jason Bay, the batter, quiet so far, and Big Papi 1 for 3, trying to just started with 1 long ball out of here, but it hasn't happened. 2-0 pitch, and watch out, little tightrope by Bay. And it's 3 balls and no strikes.
Almost hit Jason Bay. But the thing about David Ortiz, I mean, you're dealing with a different person here. You're dealing with a local hero. I mean, this guy has delivered year after year after year for these Red Sox. And they're gonna wait longer for him than they would than most organizations would with any other player.
No question, and that's what Tito Francona, they call him Tito, his dad is Tito. They call him because he said, look, I was with him cheering all the great years he had. No way I can give up on him yet. Line drive, base hit. Jason Bay, Ellsbury will score, and it's 8-2. So here the Red Sox down by 7 runs in the 5th inning. Plenty of innings left, and battling as they always do at the plate. RBI number 33 for Bay.
And a 2-out RBI where you really have to deliver a hit. The Red Sox lead the majors in 2-out RBIs. How about Jason Bay? What a job he has done.
Mike Lowell 0 for 2. Fouls off the first pitch. And I think the Red Sox players really appreciate Jason Bay's professionalism. How he goes about playing baseball. They got him from Pittsburgh, and ironically, when Bay first came over, he wasn't necessarily thrilled with the trade because he was comfortable in Pittsburgh, hoped that they would turn it around at some point.
Nor was he looked upon as the run producer that he has become.
0-1 pitch, 1-1.
We go back to our opening. I mean, a lot of Red Sox fans are saying, well, he's not Manny Ramirez, and there aren't many hitters in the history of the game that have produced as much as Manny Ramirez. But with what Bay has done, I think Red Sox fans are satisfied.
Fly ball left field. Carl Crawford back on the edge, and it's off of the scoreboard. Coming around to score is Jason Bay, and in at second with an RBI double is Mike Lowell. So Lowell with his 27th run batted in of the year. Came into the game 9th in the league, and the Red Sox chipping away now have their second run of the inning. It's 8-3.
Jason Bay obviously plays left field in this ballpark and realizes that that could be a monster double, and running hard all the way and scores easily.
Crawford hoping that it could be a base of the scoreboard catch, but it just hit. And that was the metal sound that you heard when it hit the scoreboard. So here's Rocco Baldelli, and what a game he's had. A home run and a single, and a run scored. 2 are out for the Red Sox, who now trail by 5 runs, 8-3. Down low, ball 1. No activity in the Tampa Bay bullpen. 2004 Rhode Island Italian-American Hall of Fame inductee. Gets a piece of it and fouls it off. Woonsocket. Dancing in the streets.
Yes,
sir. Great line. 1-1 to Baldelli. At the plate for the 20th time, there is Mike Lowell. Mike Lowell's been swinging a big bat as of late. In fact, came in 5th in the American League in extra base hits. And there he is with another one today.
I'll tell you, the recovery Mike Lowell has gone through and how quickly he rehabbed is remarkable. I mean, his offensive production from hip surgery last year, I mean, is phenomenal. We all know what you can do with medical science today, but Mike Lowell is certainly an example of that.
No question, he had mentally had to get back into it because of the trade possibilities.
Yeah.
Of which Mark Teixeira was being wooed by the Red Sox, and if Teixeira had come over, Youkilis would have gone to third base, making Lowell expendable. He wasn't happy with it, but as the true professional he is, he handled it. There is Bailey, the on-deck batter, hoping to get an opportunity here with a count 3 balls and 2 strikes to Rocco Baldelli. And a ground ball, Longoria bobbles it and won't make a play. That should go as an error to Evan Longoria, and holding at third base is Lowell, of course, and runners now at the corners with 2 out.
You can see Evan trying to do too much with this ball. Closed his glove too quickly. Now tried to pick it up too quickly to make the throw. So an error on Evan Longoria.
And Jim Hickey, the pitching coach for Tampa Bay, going to the mound. Remember, Casimir came in with the 8-1 lead this inning. And we talked about, and I'm sure, you know, there is not a purposeful let-up when a pitcher is there, but maybe an exhale situation, Tim. And in any event, the Red Sox have come back with 2 runs here. Still trail 8-3, but runners at first and third with 2 out, with Jeff Bailey coming to the plate.
Yeah, once again, I'll tell you, if I was a pitcher, I'd say, you guys get me all the runs you can, and I'll worry about that pitching with a big lead. I'll figure that out some way.
Here's Bailey. Fouls off the first pitch. Bailey with a single and bounced into a double play last inning. We're in the bottom of the 5th. And the Tampa Bay Rays with 2 in the first, 6 in the 5th, leading the Red Sox 8-3. 1-1 to Bailey. Bailey starting today as Kevin Youkilis missing his 5th game with tightness in his lower left side. Jason Varitek waiting on deck. That pitch is down low. This has been a 37-minute inning, counting the top half when 11 Rays came to bat, and the bottom half where Bailey is the 7th man up for the Red Sox. And it's 3-1 now to Bailey with Varitek on deck. And the bullpen activity, Joe Nelson firing away in the Tampa Bay bullpen. 3-2 now to Bailey. Baldelli will be off on the pitch, and Lowell will also be moving at third. Here's the 3-2 pitch with 2 down. And it's low, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. That's the 3rd walk issued by Scott Casimir, and Jason Varitek coming up.
Now, Casimir wanted that fastball, but home plate umpire Tim Welke said it was low. It's very close. Red Sox got the call.
So a big opportunity for the Red Sox captain Jason Varitek, who has 3 grand slams in his career with the bases loaded, struck out and walked. So Bailey is at first, Baldelli at second, and Lowell at third. First pitch, ball 1. Varitek had a grand slam homer 2 weeks ago against the Yankees.
That was that game in which the Yankees were leading 6-1 in the 4th inning, and a first pitch fastball from A.J. Burnett hit from the left side. Varitek has 3 grand slams for his career.
The 1-0 pitch. 2-0.
Now, if you're a hitter, you can afford to sit on the fastball, middle of the plate, and try to get your team back in it.
Julio Lugo is the on-deck hitter for the Red Sox. 2-0 from Casimir. Swung on and missed. Good pitch by Scott.
That's a pitch really out of the strike zone. Varitek a little too anxious.
Red Sox hoping for an explosion. The Rays hoping to put a damper on Boston's threat, and the ball fouled off to the right, and it levels the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Lowell at third, Baldelli at second, and Jeff Bailey at first. Jason Varitek 6 for 31 lifetime against Scott Casimir. The 2-2. Full count. There'll be movement on the base paths for the Red Sox. Joe Madden And Terry Francona. Will this game get closer? Or will Tampa Bay snuff him out? And a ground ball hit, big hop. Longoria will step on third for the fourth, and that will do it. But the Red Sox get 2 runs, and after 5 at Fenway Park, Tampa Bay 8, Boston 3. Correct? Okay. Okay. Will you tell me that when I'm... Okay. Okay, Aaron Rowan made an error. Okay, I got it. I'm with you. Okay, great. This is fun. Can I do the rest of the game like this? An evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy. By Craftsman, there's a craftsman in all of us. And by Kentucky Grilled Chicken, get a 2-piece meal for just $3.99 and unthink KFC. Rays coming up in the 6th inning. And it'll be B.J. Upton, who is safe on a bunt single as part of that 8-run, 8-hit 5th inning. Hunter Jones, the second pitcher. John Lester gave up 8 runs, the most he has given up in an inning, a career high, and a strike 1 to Upton.
Boston writer Tony Maserati was just in between innings, and he said, "Did you guys have that replay?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Did you think it hit Pedroia, the slider in the dirt?" I said, "Yes, we did." He said, "Well, nobody said anything." I said, "Well, we felt the same way, so evidently it didn't hit him."
You were right on it, and it appeared that it nicked his foot.
Tony certainly thought it came up and hit him in the left leg. So I don't know.
Upton, Crawford, and Longoria facing Hunter Jones here in the 6th inning. 1 ball and 1 strike to the Rays center fielder. And the count 2 balls and a strike, batting .158. And Upton having surgery on his left shoulder in November. There's Crawford on deck. Two-one pitch. And a breaking ball on the inside corner. 2-2 to Upton. Rays getting 8 runs and 8 hits, and the 8 hits in the 5th, a season high for them. Franchise record is 10. And a line shot to left field. Coming over is Jason Bay in the warning track, and Upton with his 2nd straight single. Well, time now for a DirecTV game break. Follow your favorite MLB team no matter where you live with DirecTV. 2-0 Dodgers lead in the second. Juan Pierre with a double to left center field off Jonathan Sanchez. Casey Blake and James Loney score. Pierre going to third on the error by Aaron Rowan. And it is now 5-0 in favor of the Dodgers over the Giants in the top of the 8th inning. The Dodgers have lost 2 in a row after winning the first 13 at Dodger Stadium. Here's Carl Crawford. And hits it in the air to left center field. Ellsbury going over, and he'll have to play it off the scoreboard. And B.J. Upton will be held at third, and in at second is Crawford. And the Rays at it again. Runners at second and third, nobody out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Fenway Park. We have had several balls hit off the monster this afternoon. This grand old lady built in 1912. Erased from the front pages of the Globe because the Titanic had sunk.
Wow. It's in the history books. You can look it up, as they say.
You can look it up.
Here's Longoria, and they're going to walk Longoria intentionally and pitch to the left-handed hitting Carlos Pena. So that will load the bases with nobody out. And Pena, who is 0 for 3 and has struck out his last 2 times, but that was against John Lester facing Hunter Jones for the first time. So Upton with 2 hits today. Carl Crawford with a pair. Evan Longoria with a home run and a double. Pat Burrell with a couple of hits. Iwamura with 2. And it's been a hitting parade for the Tampa Bay Rays. They have 13 hits in all. And here's Pena. First 3 hitters in the Rays lineup. 6 of 10 with a home run, 5 runs batted in, and 5 runs scored. So they've done it without Pena's production today, Tim.
Yeah, but they've had production from all the other slots.
Hunter Jones in tight, 1-0. Takashi Saito warming up in the Red Sox bullpen. Former Dodger closer. Way out in front of that off-speed pitch, and the count 1-1. Good pitch by Hunter Jones.
Good slider. It looks like Jones gets his slider over better than his fastball. The Red Sox have a wealth of talent as far as pitching is concerned. Adding Brad Penny, Takashi Saito, who is a luxury as an extra short reliever, and then of course John Smoltz in the wings.
Let's
he
not
could
forget
be back in the middle of June.
Clay Buchholz.
And Clay Buchholz, who's pitching lights out in Pawtucket. Yeah.
Right now, all the Red Sox are asking Jones and maybe Saito to do, or keep the Rays off the scoreboard, give the Red Sox a chance to come back with more. They got 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Hunter Jones wearing number 62. Pat Burrell on deck. Bases are loaded. Nobody out. Up high, and it's 2-2 to Pena.
Notice how Jones, with runners on base, he slows things down. A catcher, one of the catcher's responsibilities is when a pitcher gets in trouble, try to keep the same pace. If you slow things down, you send messages to the other team that you're in trouble. I mean, obviously you are, bases loaded, nobody out, but you don't pitch like it.
And the count is full, 3-2, not to mention what it does for the concentration of the fielders.
Right, that's exactly right. That's always the case, particularly the infielders. There's Carlos Pena last year with 9 bases loaded walks. That is a major league record.
And he also has 6 career Grand Slam homers and 1 already this year against the Yankees. So the count is full, 3-2, nobody out, bases loaded. Rays looking for another big inning and just getting a piece of it, fouls it back to the screen. Pena is the 15th batter to come up for Tampa Bay in the last 2 innings. And there are nobody out and the base is loaded. An 8-run 5th inning. Longoria's a 2-run double and Pat Burrell's 2-run single. The big blow. Again the 3-2. And hanging in there is Pena. There are the runners on the bases. In the last 2 years, only Ryan Howard has hit more home runs than Carlos Pena. Upton at third, Crawford at second, Longoria with the lead at first base. Payoff pitch. A line drive, and that's going to be a base hit into the right field corner. Upton and Crawford will score. Longoria will go to third as the ball gets free in the infield. No more advance, however, and Pena on at second with a 2-run double. And the Rays now lead it 10-3. Pena's first base hit of the game, and all 9 Tampa Bay hitters have hit safely.
Yeah, so Pena joins the hit parade, a hanging slider from Hunter Jones. Easy double for Pena. That's his 6th of the year. RBIs number 31 and 32.
And Terry Francona going to the mound. And we're going to have a pitching change. That will be all for Hunter Jones. And we'll take a break. So it's been a big day for the Tampa Bay Bats. And welcome back to Fenway Park. Fox Saturday Baseball presented by Taco Bell, and the new pitcher is Takashi Saito, and Pat Burrell misses the first pitch. Burrell 2 for 3 with 2 runs batted in and a run scored. Saito, the former Dodger, has 2 saves and 3 save opportunities. This is his 12th appearance of the year. Runners at second and third, still nobody out, and 1-1 to Burrell.
Think about the Boston Red Sox. They did not make many moves during the offseason, but the one move they did make, Takashi Saito, I think is going to pay dividends before this season's over. And if the Red Sox reach postseason, they have a stopper and a stopper in Saito and Papelbon.
And they appeal, and going around is with Burrell, according to Scott Barry, the first base umpire. So the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Saito already has come in and save opportunities, as we mentioned, when Papelbon has been worked and needed the day off. And Terry Francona saying it's like a catch-22 situation with Saito, because they want to have him work a lot, and yet he's in the position where they have to spot him. So where do you go with it?
Yeah.
Breaking pitch, foul back, and it's still 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, think about how many major league teams have a second stopper that had 39 saves, as many as 39 saves as Takashi had 2 years ago with the Dodgers.
Well, Terry Francona telling us before the game that the bullpen has really kept the Red Sox in every game this year. He doesn't feel the starters have really gotten on track yet. And obviously today is another example, and time called, and Veritek will go to the mound. Well, Fox Sports is proud to support the Michael J. Fox Foundation's goal to drive the development of better treatments and a cure for Parkinson's. To learn more, please visit michaeljfox.org.
Speaking of the bullpen of the Red Sox, we pointedly asked Terry Francona today, is this the best bullpen you've had to work with in Boston? He said yes.
You don't win without a good bullpen.
Not nowadays, you don't.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Speaking of Terry Francona, after the game we'll be flying to Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Tomorrow will be the graduation of his daughter Alyssa on the campus of the University of North Carolina, and then we'll fly back for tomorrow night's series finale with the Rays. 2-2 pitch, foul back. So congratulations to the Francona family, and I know his dad, Tito Francona, who played many years in the big leagues, once hit .361. You know him, of course.
With Cleveland in 1959, we were teammates with the Cardinals back in the middle 60s, and Tito's already down there. So Tito, congratulations. And Nick, Terry's son, is already on his way down there from New Jersey.
2-2 pitch, grounded to Lowell at third, will hold the runners, and Burrell is retired for out number 1. While we have a moment, we want to send our best wishes to one of the more popular people in Red Sox Nation. In fact, the head of Red Sox Nation, Jerry Remy, who was a second baseman for the Red Sox, an all-star, and has been a broadcaster since 1988, underwent lung cancer surgery, and since then has had an infection, fighting it off. And we understand he's doing well, on the road to recovery, and should be back on the Red Sox local broadcast team in a couple of weeks. As popular as you'll find Jerry Remy around here.
One of the great guys in our business. We have the privilege of seeing the Rim Dog often when we come in here in Boston, and he is one of the great guys, hugely popular here in Red Sox Nation, here in nationwide in Red Sox Nation. And what a terrific guy.
Does the game so well with Don Orsillo.
Yep.
And has worked in our booth on occasion. In fact, last year, Jerry and I was supposed to work game in September, a Yankee Red Sox game that was rained out. But I had a chance to talk to Jerry for a few hours.
He's as good as they come.
Pitch down low. And it's 2-0 to Bartlett. with 1 out, runners at second and third. 2 runs in here, so the Rays answering the Red Sox 2-run fifth with 2 of their own here in the 6th inning. And they're going to walk Bartlett and load the bases with the count 2-0. So we also want to wish all the best to Bob Tomaselli, one of our ace cameramen who works our games. He'll be coming back at the end of the month, so all of us at Fox production and technical crew look forward to Bob Tomaselli's return. Ben Zobrist is going to come up and pinch hit for Gabe Kapler. Bases are loaded.
Zobrist, a very valuable man for Joe Madden and the Rays. He's a switch hitter. Came up as an infielder and will stay in the game as the right fielder for the Rays.
He has 2 pinch hit home runs so far this year. Played in 62 games last year and hit 12 home runs. So Ben Zobrist has some power. Bases are loaded with 1 out here in the 6th inning.
It's always better to have switch hitters as pinch hitters, because then a manager can't bring in a certain pitcher. If the guy's a left-handed hitter, he can't bring in the left-hander. If he's a right-handed hitter, vice versa.
7th man to face the Red Sox, and foul tips it into the glove of Varitek, strike 1. So Ben Zobrist, who has flourished with the bases loaded throughout his career, looking to add to the lead for the Rays. They're up 10-3. 8 runs last inning. 2 already here in the 6th. Bases are loaded with 1 away. Takashi Saito, the 3rd pitcher of the day for Boston. Saito, 39 years old. And his 4th year in the big leagues. 0-1 pitch on the outside corner. Good fastball by Saito, and it's 0-2 to the pinch hitter. Akinori Iwamura is on deck for Tampa Bay. He's had a big day at the bottom of the batting order for the Rays. You look at that scoreboard, very crowded 5th and 6th innings when you look at the numbers on that scoreboard in left field.
Keep the line moving, say the Rays. They have done that in the last 2 innings.
And finally, time called, and for the 2nd time this inning, Jason Varitek has to go out to Saito to work on the signals. Well, next week, Grady Sizemore leads the Indians into Tampa to take on Evan Longoria and these Rays. Mets battle the Giants. Angels take on the Rangers in a showdown between division rivals. Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Taco Bell, returns next week at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific on Fox. Check your local listings.
How about the Texas Rangers ahead in the American League West by a game and a half over L.A. and Seattle?
So Kansas City and Texas surprise teams in the American League, Tim. And how about the Mets have won 6 in a row? So much expected of the New York Mets with all the talent that they have. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Zobrist. And it remains 1-2. Well, let's take a look at the lead. What we've seen, of course, the big story, and we have talked about it, the suspension of Manny Ramirez. But there are some of the others. The Dodgers won 13 in a row at home, lost 2, and winning today.
Bob Melvin, we talked about Ryan Zimmerman's 28-game streak. Bob Melvin fired by the Diamondbacks A.J. Hinch, who has never managed a day in his life. He was a catcher for the Oakland Athletics. but he has taken over the Arizona Diamondbacks.
1-2 pitches outside. Ken Rosenthal, the Arizona Diamondbacks. A couple of years ago, they were the darlings of the National League, and now Melvin's gone.
Very surprising change in that A.J. Hinch, like Tim said, not only has never managed a day in his life, has never even been a major league coach. The Diamondbacks gave him a contract through 2012, raising eyebrows throughout the industry, but they feel that A.J. Hinch can unlock some of their young players. He was the farm director when many of them were rising through the system.
All right, Ken, thanks very much. And right now, the Diamondbacks 6 games under 500, 8.5 behind the Dodgers. Bases are loaded. You saw Bartlett, Pena, and Longoria on the base paths. 2 balls and 2 strikes to pinch hitter Ben Zobrist. And Saito deliberate out there. Time is called.
Again, we talked about Hunter Jones, how he slowed things down with the bases loaded. And again, it's from a catcher standpoint, you try to get and encourage your pitcher to keep the same pace.
And the pitch taken for a ball, so 3-2 with the word term snail's pace fit the situation.
Snail's pace is usually the wrong pace for a pitcher. It is.
I know.
Well, for anybody, for that matter.
Except for a snail.
Yes.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And there's a shot, base hit to right center field. 2 more runs will score for Tampa Bay. A 2-run pinch hit single for Ben Zobrist. And the Tampa Bay Rays destroying Red Sox pitching.
Well, our mutual friend Jim Cott used to have a saying about pitching. You think long, you think wrong.
Right.
And Saito taking his time after minute, throws a hanging breaking ball as Zobrist delivers again. Now it's 12-3 Rays.
4 runs in, still 1 out, and runners at first and third. And here is Iwamura, who has doubled, singled, scored a run, and driven in a run on a force play. Check swing, foul tip for a strike. $18 batters.
Let's see, 10-2.
Well, you know, they got to find the 12. They had it the other night.
That's true.
They had it the other night in the 6th for the Red Sox.
That's exactly right. Against Cleveland.
Just pick that one up. No balls and a strike. And that's a strike on the outside corner. And it's 0-2. 18 batters have come up in the last 2 innings for the Rays.
Yeah, that 12 is usually used for hits. It's never used for errors, occasionally used for runs. And they probably have only 112 out there. They had to rummage through it and find out where it was.
Here's the 0-2 pitch, check swing. And I'm sure that it's you know, with all the changes at Fenway Park, I'm sure it's very clean in that scoreboard, because you know, we remember the story of the so-called rat being in the scoreboard with the cameraman who caught Carlton Fisk's dramatic home run with the body language sign back in '75. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Iwamura.
But Carlton also bringing up when he was on in the 5th inning, that seems like an eternity ago, but bringing up the fact that nowadays, you know, pitchers do not move hitters' feet and do not throw inside nearly enough. And that is a fact.
And a foul tip at the plate. 1 out, runners at first and third. And just getting a piece of it. So far, we're not finished yet here, but it's taken an inning and a half, an hour and 8 minutes. Here's the 2-2 from Saito, foul back. You said that Carlton Fisk was here last inning. He must have a beard by now. I mean, it's been that long.
At least an afternoon shadow. I mean, everything in the last 40 years in baseball has really been done to protect the hitter. Pitchers can't pitch inside. First, they lower the mound after the 1968 season to 10 inches.
Fly ball hit to right center field and deep, and going back, and Ellsbury makes the catch. Fine play by Ellsbury right up against that wall and scoring. After the catch is Longoria, and it is now 13-3.
Fine play by a young man who's going to be roaming center field for a long time, one would expect, here in Boston. Very, very good defensive player. But not only have they lowered the mound 5 inches, as they did in 1969, but they tell pitchers they can't pitch inside. So baseball realizing that a lot of runs scored in a game is probably makes the game more dramatic. But if you're a pitcher, you've got to think about that.
Deanna Navarro with a line drive to left field, and Jason Bay makes the catch. Carlton Fisk, not really, but that's what it could be since he was in here the last inning. Big 10-run lead. Play for today's game, and the big question: did the pitch hit Dustin Pedroia in the 5th inning?
Yeah, it was with Jacoby Ellsbury on base. It certainly looked like it hit him, but I guess that view right there, perhaps the ball bounced and then cleared the leg and hit the glove. Remember, it doesn't matter if a batter is hit by a pitch if it hits the dirt first. That's still a hit by pitch. But I guess that pitch, the ball took like a dog leg left, and I guess it hit the heel of the glove of Navarro.
So it was ruled a wild pitch. Ellsbury went to second. The Red Sox scored 2 runs back in the 5th to answer the 6-run 5th by the Rays, but then Tampa Bay comes back with 5 big ones in the 6th. So in the bottom of the 6th inning, Julio Lugo facing the new pitcher Joe Nelson, making his 14th appearance of the year. So Nelson facing Lugo, and then the top of the Red Sox order. 2 balls and no strikes. Rays lead by 10 runs. Lugo safe on a bunt single. And then on a fielder's choice. And Nelson falls behind 3-0. Javier Lopez. Sidewinding left-hander in the Red Sox bullpen. In for the strike, 3-1. Ben Zobrist, by the way, who pinch hit for Gabe Kapler, goes into play right field. Zobrist delivering with a pinch hit 2-run single in the top of the 6th. Nelson, 34 years old, from West Palm Beach, Florida. And a fly ball down the left field line, and it's fair. And Lugo has himself a home run. Julio Lugo with his first home run of the season. So the fans in the monster seats have something to cheer about. Baldelli hit a home run earlier, and now Lugo.
A hanging breaking ball, looked like a hanging slider. And since October 1975, and right this minute, Dick Stockton has called the last home run at Fenway and the last home run at Fenway. The one by Carlton Fisk. I mean, that was certainly reminiscent of the ball. That,
yes.
Of course, that did not hit the Fisk pole.
No.
Named the Fisk pole in 2005 after Pudge.
And the significance and drama not quite the same.
No.
As this home run by Lugo brings the Red Sox to within 9.
Yes.
In the game in May in the 6th inning. And the pitch to Ellsbury. 2-1. But the Red Sox, what a 6th inning they've had. We mentioned the 12 runs before and out on Thursday against the Indians to tie Major League record. And last night, down 3-0, scored 5 runs in the 6th inning. So the Red Sox love the 6th. 2-1, the count to Jacoby Ellsbury. Last time up, a single and scored a run. He is 1 for 3. There it is, the Red Sox 6th. Big Poppy and Terry Francona. Joe Nelson, and the pitch is down low. This game through the middle inning appeared to be a solid pitching duel between Scott Kazmir and John Lester before the 6-run explosion.
2-1 game then.
Right. Foul back.
Yeah, there have been 14 runs scored in the last inning and a half.
That's why we were into the hour 15 minute sequence. There are those numbers. Lance Cormier in the Rays bullpen. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ellsbury. Stays alive. Dodgers are winning 8-0 in the 9th inning. There's Cormier. And the Toronto Blue Jays are up 6-1 in the 9th inning of their game. And of course, with a Red Sox loss, if they go on to lose this and the Blue Jays go on and win, they will regain first place in the AL East. Down low, ball 4, and Ellsbury is on. Well, coming up after our game, NASCAR on Fox goes under the lights in Darlington, South Carolina, where Kyle Busch will try to defend his title against a full field of the world's best drivers. Coverage of Sprint Cup Series racing from Darlington begins immediately after our game in high definition here on Fox. Leadoff homer by Julio Lugo right down the left field line. Ellsbury walks, and here's Dustin Pedroia takes a strike. 0 for 2 with a base on balls for Pedroia. Rays leading 13-4. Ellsbury second in the league with 15 stolen bases, behind Carl Crawford, 21. 1-1. Nelson pitched briefly for the Red Sox back in 2002. But last year, a career season for the Marlins. 60 strikeouts in 54 innings and a 3-1 record. There's a high chopper. Bartlett gets one, and that's all. As Ellsbury is forced at second. Pedroia is on base, and there's one away. So David Ortiz coming up. Still looking for that first one this year out of the ballpark. In fair territory. 150 at bats without a home run for David Ortiz, who is 1 for 3. Singled in the first. Here's a ball, 1-0.
Now again, to accentuate what David has done, just 3 years ago, he had 54 home runs. 54.
And was down last year. And if this pace continues, it'll be considerably down from last year, which is the report we got from Ken Rosenthal about where the Red Sox are certainly being patient. No panic setting in, but we'll see what happens in the months to come.
Well, of course, last year he was hurt. He played in 109 games. Home run total down to 23 at 89 RBIs. But I think that's the most important question to ask. Is he healthy? And not saying anything about the wrist. He says he's fine, but he's not swinging like he's fine.
And that wrist really bothered him, and it took a while to get back. A 4-pitch walk by Nelson and a conference at the mound. So Pedroia moves to second. Ortiz is on at first. 1 out, and the batter will be Jason Bay. And Joe Madden wearing the Rays sweatshirt with the hood, I might add, coming out of the dugout. And pitching change being made. Cormier, the left-hander, coming on in. Relievers in innings so far, working 21 2/3, facing Jason Bay with runners at first and second, 1 out, and the Rays leading 13-4. Bay 1 for 3 with an RBI single last inning, and he takes strike 1. So Tim, let's see whether the Red Sox magical 6th inning continues. They already have 1 run in. Lugo's leadoff homer. They have a long mountain to climb here.
Magical 6th inning with Houdini at the plate. He has been Houdini the last 2 nights.
And Mike Lowell to follow. Bay is 1 for 9 in his career against Cormier. His RBI last inning was his 33rd of the season.
This could not be set up any better. 2 men on in the 6th inning, like there have been the last 2 nights at Fenway.
Fouls it off, and again for Jason Bay. And a fair ball, and Bay, ball is caught and going to third base was Pedroia, and Ortiz holding at first. So there are 2 out now. And the Jason Bay home run explosion will have to wait
for another inning at least, unless the Red Sox bat around here with 2 outs.
So Mike Lowell, RBI double, takes a strike. Talking about Jason Bay, and each of his last 7 home runs have come with men on base. He's been the master of the 3-run homer, but that opportunity went by the boards. So with 2 down, the count is 0-1, runners at first and third. Fastball and a strike, 0-2 to Lowell. Off the end of the bat, foul down the first base line.
Yeah, 7 of the 9 home runs that Bay has come after the 6th inning. And I think a lot of people have a tendency to think that if they're late inning home runs that they're more important, but not necessarily. And it could be tack-on home runs, or in this particular instance a 3-run shot that still allows Tampa Bay to lead by 6. You know, game situations could come early in the game. A 3-run homer in the bottom of the first, for instance, the team wins 3-2. So
in the dirt, Navarro makes a good stop, no advance, and
not necessarily more important later in the game.
Well, Longoria hit a 2-run homer in the first inning.
That certainly set the stage for this offensive explosion by the Rays this afternoon. 13 runs in 6 innings.
They've never trailed.
No.
Red Sox got it to 2-1 on Baldelli's home run. I guess if you're behind or the game is very close in those later innings, that's where the home run is big. There's a base hit, stroke to right field. Pedroia will come in and score, and Ortiz will stop at second. So it's now 13-5, and Mike Lowell, with RBIs in the last 2 innings, now has 28 on the season.
Mike with a very smart approach. When the Red Sox first got Lowell from the Marlins, came up in the Josh Beckett trade, he was not that type of hitter. With 2 strikes, he'd still try to pull the ball. But now with 2 strikes, he does what he just did, go the other way.
And here's Rocco Baldelli, who's been on base every time up. A home run in the 2nd inning at the time brought the Red Sox to 2-1. A single in the 4th, and reached on an error last inning. And a ground ball. Longoria will go to second for the force to retire the side. So it's 13-5 in favor of Tampa Bay, and we will return to Boston after a word from your local Fox station. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Hey, man. Hear you.
Welcome back to Fox Saturday Baseball, presented by Taco Bell. Taco Bell, think outside the bun. George Kataris coming into the game, relieving Jason Varitek. Behind the plate, Nick Green will give Mike Lowell the rest of the day off at third base, and left-hander Javier Lopez with his 14th appearance of the year, the fourth pitcher of the day for the Red Sox.
B.J. Upton hitting only 152 coming into this game, and there's a chance that he'll get up 2 more times unless the Rays go in order 3 innings in a row. Here's a chance with a four-hit game to really get well and to get started, and the Rays would love for that to happen.
Imagine if B.J. Upton gets going, and then with Crawford, even if he cools down, Longoria and Pena and Burrow, pretty good lineup.
You bet.
1 ball and 1 strike.
But this is the type of game to get well. If you're a guy struggling like Upton, you're not facing the aces of the staff. You're facing the middle relief.
1 and 2.
As we all know, confidence is, if you're healthy, confidence is such a vital part of playing in the big leagues or anything else for that matter.
Carl Crawford on deck, and Longoria to follow. Pitch is down low, 2 balls and 2 strikes. 15 hits for the Rays today. Three and 2. And ball 4, so Upton draws a walk here in the 7th inning. And now it's time for the Hulu game summary. Evan Longoria, and he has totally dominated Red Sox pitching today, hasn't he? Double home run, 4 RBIs, top 3 hitters. Every member in the starting lineup for the Rays has a hit. And here's Crawford, and he takes ball 1. Game summary brought to you by Hulu, an evil plot to destroy the world. Enjoy. Crawford, who has 2 hits, lifts this to left field, and Jason Bay looking up and loses it off the top of the glove on the scoreboard, and going into second with a double is Crawford. Upton will hold at third.
Oh, we have had so many examples of what the Green Monster represents to left fielders today. That ball is tucked away in almost every major league ballpark, with the possible exception of Wrigley Field, with the wind blowing out. And Carl Crawford will take it, his second double and 3rd hit of the day.
He's walked once and has scored 3 runs, so another big day for Carl Crawford. He has been on a tear. So here's Evan Longoria. Speaking of players on a tear.
Yeah.
And the first pitch in for a strike. Longoria, red hot, Ken.
Dick, people around the game are starting to talk about Evan Longoria in reverential tones. I had an American League general manager say to me this week that we are seeing the early years of an inner circle Hall of Famer. Remember, guys, this kid is 23 years old.
That's amazing, and isn't it great to see a player like this develop? You know, the embryonic start for Longoria, Rookie of the Year. Obviously will be a contender for MVP honors. In the air to center field, Ellsbury. And tagging up will be Upton. He'll come around to score, and Crawford will go to third. And it's now 14-5 in favor of the Rays. And for Longoria, that is his 5th run batted in of the game.
We talked about the plate coverage of Evan Longoria, the home run in the first inning, and then the double off John Lester. This is the home run to give you an idea. Outside part of the plate, and he hits it for a home run that hit the top of the wall and center. The double is a cut fastball inside, so he pulls it. He is lightning quick inside, and the word is already out about the 23-year-old. Be careful when you come inside, and that was the word last World Series, and that is still the case. He is some talent.
Carlos Pena swings and misses, doubled home 2 runs last inning. So every time the Red Sox start to make some mild inroads, the Rays answer. 1 out, and Crawford with the lead at third. Pena with 32 runs batted in on the year chases that pitch, and it's 0-2. Carl Crawford, Evan Longoria. How hot can they be? I mean, Crawford on the base paths last week. Remember the 6 stolen bases against Boston on Sunday. Longoria had a grand slam homer a week ago Friday. 2-run homer today, 2-run double, and a sacrifice fly. And Pena strikes out. 2 down now in the 7th.
Good slider from Javier Lopez to get Pena. 3rd time this afternoon that Carlos has gone down on strikes.
And a good day for Pat Burrell. 2 for 4. Couple of singles. 2 runs batted in as well. 1-0 outside. Jason Bartlett would be next. There's a strike. 0-1 to Pat Burrell. He has started 28 games, all as the designated hitter for Tampa Bay. Two and 1 to Burrell.
Nat Garza, left of your screen, is going to be the starting pitcher against Josh Beckett tomorrow night.
Hit in the air. And Ellsbury making the catch to retire the side. Another run coming across for Tampa Bay. They're up 14-5 in the middle of the 7th. Bailey, the first batter up, hits a ground ball, and it's Bartlett who makes the play for the first out. Well, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. Pacific time, Fox's coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup racing from Darlington will start on Speed. Check your local listings for the channel number in your area for Speed. As soon as our baseball game is over, we will get you out to Darlington for tonight's NASCAR race. And here's George Kataris up for the first time in this game. And takes strike one. Lance Cormier, the third pitcher for Joe Madden's Rays. Fly ball hit to right field. Ben Zobrist is there to make the catch. And there are two down. Pepsi, the official soft drink of Major League Baseball, congratulates Zach Greinke, who the fans have voted April's MLB Clutch Performer of the Month, presented by Pepsi. What a performance.
What a remarkable start for the Kansas City right-hander who goes against the Los Angeles Angels tonight. If the All-Star game were played tomorrow, Zach Greinke would be the starter. He has been remarkable. 6-0 with a .40 earned run average.
Great start and a great guy. Learn more about the MLB Clutch Performer of the Month award at PepsiClutch.com. Slow roller to shortstop Bartlett and a 1-2-3 inning. And of course, where else would a Kansas City pitcher pitch but the opposite side of the state of Missouri in the All-Star game?
Right.
Foul at the plate. Bartlett with a single and a walk. Walked intentionally in the sixth inning, and Ben Zobrist delivering a two-run single, pinch hitting for Gabe Kapler. It's been a laugher for the Rays, who have answered every attempted rally by the Red Sox. It was 2-1 favor of Tampa Bay. Then it was an 8-1 game. Red Sox got two in the bottom of the fifth. And then Joe Madden's crew came back with 5 in the 6th. The Red Sox had 2 more runs in the bottom of the 6th inning as this pop-up handled by Green at third for the first out. We've been talking about Zach Greinke and you know, the pitcher of the moment in the spotlight in not only the American League but in Major League Baseball.
We talked about how remarkable a start is, and just look at this. Earned run average became an official stat in 1912, and only 2 other pitchers have gone 6-0 in their first 6 starts and had an earned run average of .40 or less. 2 other pitchers.
Ground ball to the left side, and Lugo making the play. Well, Kenny, it's a great story for Zach Greinke, isn't it?
Dick, it's a great comeback story. I spoke this week with Buddy Bell, who was the Royals manager in February 2006, when Zach Greinke had to leave the game because he was suffering from depression and also social anxiety disorder. Bell and the Royals general manager at the time, Howard Baird, they met with Greinke, and they said there was no question that he had to get away from baseball. And what Bell says is so great about this is that Zach Greinke can now realize just how tough he is to come all the way back.
Thank you, Ken.
One of the great early stories of this 2009 season.
And there always seems to be one.
Yeah. Baseball has a way of that happening.
Josh Hamilton.
Last year,
right?
Yes.
2-1 to Iwamura with 2 out here in the 8th inning. After Lopez got Zobrist on an infield grounder. 3-1 now to the Rays' second baseman. Remember, the race from Darlington will start on the Speed Network at 7 o'clock, and then when this game is over, you'll be able to watch it right here on Fox. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs here in the 8th inning. Payoff pitch, and Iwamura strikes out. 1-2-3 inning for Javier Lopez. The Red Sox come up in the bottom of the 8th. Willie Ibar has moved into first base, replacing Carlos Pena. Ben Zobrist goes from right to left field, and Gabe Gross now in right field for Tampa Bay as the Red Sox bat in the 8th inning, and it'll be the top of the order. Ellsbury followed by Pedroia and Ortiz. Ellsbury with a single and a walk has scored a run today. And Lance Cormier, first pitch, ball 1. Remember, Fox's coverage of NASCAR Sprint Cup racing from Darlington will start on Speed at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Check your local listings, and as soon as our game is over, we'll get you out to Darlington for tonight's race. 1 ball and 1 strike, the count to Ellsbury. Ground ball up the middle. Bartlett making the play for out number 1. Now it's time for the Just for Men hair color hold leaders. Travis Harper, Dan Wheeler. There they are, and just as these relievers keep their team in the game, you too can stay in the game with Just for Men hair color. Here's Pedroia. The only time he was on base was in the first inning when he walked. Did reach on a fielder's choice and scored a run, but has not hit safely. No balls and a strike. Here's Longoria. Great backhanded play. The throw. And staying on first base. Willie Ibar kept his foot on the bag. And that's the second outstanding play by Ray's first baseman, not to mention this play.
Short hop by Longoria. And then Ibar at first base. So good plays on the corners. Ibar was probably off the bag. But in a 14-5 game, even though it's right in front of the Red Sox dugout, I don't think Terry Francona is going to argue about that.
So here's David Ortiz. 1 for 3 and a walk. Ortiz with 14 runs batted in. We've been talking about the lack of the home runs, Tim, but 14 RBIs.
Yeah, and he's had ample opportunities too, because Ellsbury off to a fast start, and so is Pedroia. So he's had a lot of men on base. It's been a horrible 150 at bats. It doesn't matter how you look at it. Horrible. Home runs, average, RBIs. And a guy who has excelled once again in all of those categories since coming to the Red Sox.
He was one guy that did express disappointment when Manny Ramirez left the team.
Yeah.
Fly ball left field. Zobrist makes the catch. But they have Youkilis, leading hitter in the league. Bay hasn't done badly. on Speed. Check your local listings for the channel number in your area for Speed. As soon as our baseball game is over, we'll get you out to Darlington for tonight's NASCAR race. Manny Del Carmen, the 5th pitcher of the day, making his 14th appearance. And a very important relief pitcher in the scheme of things for Terry Francona. But today it's a mop-up day for most of these relief pitchers.
Yeah, but you're right about Del Carmen. The Red Sox have grand plans for him. He is very instrumental in that very strong bullpen of the Red Sox.
Top of the 9th inning, Deoner Navarro, 1 for 4. Checks his swing, and ball 1 to the catcher, who has a single and a walk. Back in the 5th inning, when the Rays had 8 runs on 8 hits, and for all intents and purposes broke the game open. 1-1. Red Sox did come back with 2 runs, but the Rays answered with 5 in the 6th. Top of the order, B.J. Upton waiting to hit. John Lester started, worked 4 1/3 innings, gave up 8 runs on 10 hits. And the 8 runs, most he's given up this year, and the count now 2-1. Scott Kazmir worked 5 innings, allowed 3 runs on 8 hits. Line drive right field, and the catch is made by Rocco Baldelli for out number 1. Well, we talked about the poll question: should Manny Ramirez play in the 2009 All-Star game? And a resounding response by you, the fans, voting 82% no, he shouldn't, 18% yes.
That's predictable. I wonder what those that yes and no would be when Manny comes back, like the week of July 3rd. The All-Star game, 11 games or 11 days away.
Strike 1 to Upton.
More of a knee-jerk reaction, don't you think?
Yeah, and
predictable.
The timing of all of this really, as you point out, makes it very interesting as far as when he gets off the 50-game suspension.
Yeah. Once again, Manny Ramirez comes back on July 3rd. As Ken reported earlier, the salary that he will miss will be close to $7 million, about $6.8 million, which is kind of hard to believe that you're going to lose that almost $7 million by missing 50 days of work.
Work? Willie Ibar on deck. And strike 3 fouled into the glove of Kataris. And that will be the second out as Ibar goes down, or I should say Upton goes down, and Ibar coming to the plate. And you just, the unpredictability of it all with Manny Ramirez really put so much question. And the Dodgers relied so much on building things around him.
Well, as I said earlier, I'm not too sure it was unpredictable, Dick. To me, it's not a shocking thing for Manny Ramirez to continue to have problems with the establishment, whether it's the problem that he recently had or anything else for that matter, as he proved here in Boston for a long period of time.
Ibar going into second with a double.
And the Red Sox permitted it. They made mistakes along those lines until he finally, for a month, crippled an organization. And they were forced to get rid of him. They got rid of him. He was a booming success in Southern California. Nobody's questioning that. Nobody ever questioned the fact that this guy is one of the great right-handed hitters or hitters in the history of the game. But because of what he did last July and because of the way he's handled his career, That's why I was not shocked at this occurrence with Manny Ramirez.
Evan Longoria with 5 runs batted in with a homer, double, sacrifice fly, facing Manny Del Carmen. 2 outs, and Ibar on at second. The pitch is inside. The Dodgers have a strong team this year.
No, yeah.
In any event.
Yeah, good pitching. They have better pitching than they thought they had, I think.
And their lineup is good. The young players.
Yeah, but much, much stronger with Ramirez in there. Not perhaps as strong as it was last year, but a much, much stronger lineup with Ramirez in there.
Longoria lines out to Bay, and the Red Sox coming up in the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing 14-5. Who have made a difference in their community. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored at the 2009 All-Star Game in St. Louis. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com. And you look at someone like Kevin Youkilis and what he has done. Hits for Kids, Little Ukes program. Kevin Youkilis unable to play today and leading the American League in hitting. One of those players who go beyond the award nominee for the 2008 Roberto Clemente honor. The artist rendering, by the way, by Bob Myers, and beautifully done. Jason Bay, the batter, 1 for 4 with a single, RBI, and a run scored.
Red Sox with an off day on Monday, so they are not anticipating Kevin Youkilis playing tomorrow either.
Pop up, and chasing it as Ibar is out of play. They have a day off, as you mentioned, and they go out to Anaheim.
Warm weather of Southern California, and Youkilis will probably play on Tuesday night.
So there is Kevin Youkilis, who off to a sensational start and was hitting cleanup, and then Jason Bay moved into that spot. Fouled off the fist, out of play. 2 balls, 2 strikes. By the way, Lance Cormier would earn a save in the 3-inning rule if he sets down the Red Sox here. His only previous save came last year when he was with the Orioles.
That's one of the silly parts of that save rule. I mean, here it is, a 14-5 game, and if you work 3 innings and complete the game, you get a save. That's the way the rules read.
Fouled out of play. The producer of today's game is Pete Macheska, and the director is Bill Webb. The associate director is Fran Morrison, and the broadcast associate Brian Biederman. Our technical producer is Dan Rotante, and the technical director is Jonathan Evans. The pregame show is produced by Don Bowie. The highlights coordinator is Janice Kazaza, and the technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers are David Hill and Ed Gorin. Lifted in the air to right field, Gabe Gross making the catch. So Nick Green is going to come up for the first time. He replaced Mike Lowell at third base. One out here in the bottom of the ninth inning. Green, one of the shortstops, filling the gap with Jed Lowry out with the recovery from wrist surgery. And has done a credible job at the plate. Breaking ball hit to the right side. Ibar to Cormier, and he steps on the bag for out number 2. 2 down in the ninth inning. And it's Rocco Baldelli, homered in the second inning to bring the Red Sox to within 2-1. And then the 11-run explosion by the Rays in the 5th and 6th innings. The difference today. Fastball, strike 1. Don't forget, NASCAR will follow from the Darlington Raceway as soon as this game is over. There's a call, strike 2, 0-2 to Baldelli.
From a pennant race to a NASCAR race.
Very nice. They get the green light there, that's for sure. 1 and 2. Not always here in this game. Scott Kazmir is going to get the victory and go to 4-3 on the year, and John Lester will drop to 2-3. And time to relax for Joe Madden as the Rays will have evened this series at a game apiece. And once again, Tampa Bay really giving the Red Sox all they can handle in the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
Winning the ALCS last year, taking 10 out of 18 games in the regular season. There's a line drive coming over is B.J. Upton, and the game is over as Baldelli lines out, and that ends it. The final score, Tampa Bay Rays 14, the Boston Red Sox 5. We'll be back in just a moment.